And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Number of votes cast. The total number of votes cast, 10,359,479, amounting to 57.22% of the total number of registered voters. Now therefore, candidate Yoweri Museveni Tibuhaburwa Kaguta, having obtained the highest number of votes in the election and the votes cast in his favor being more than 50% of the valid votes cast at the election, the Electoral Commission declares Yoweri Museveni Tibuhaburwa Kaguta elected President of the Republic of Uganda at the presidential election held on the 14th day of January 2021, dated this 16th day of January 2021.
Well, thank you so much. And it's now breaking news. Yoweri Museveni Tibuhaburwa Kaguta has been declared the winner of this year's election 2021 as Uganda's choice. Now it is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni doing it again and winning it again. It is official right from the National Tally Center and of course at the National and at the Elections Hub here at UBC TV. Congratulations, Yoweri Museveni Tibuhaburwa Kaguta and the National Resistance Movement Party.
I do remember that day as vividly as though it was just yesterday, the 14th of January 2021, when this country, the election committee, did declare Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa as the president-elect of the Republic of Uganda. Now just have a flashback of the year 1986, when the National Resistance Army did come into power after 5 years of a guerrilla war. And when they came into power, one of their mandates was to return the power to the people of Uganda. And it did. They were faithful to their word, and they did allow an election to happen. And Ugandans exercised their freedom to decide who would be their next leader when it comes to presidency. And Ugandans in 1986 did make a decision, and they said, well, he has fought for us, he has gone to the bush for us, he has gone to war for us. Why don't we give him a chance to become the president of Uganda? 3 days later, in February 1986, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was declared the president of Uganda. Now, it's been 35 years later, and Ugandans have still appreciated him. And what have these 35 years meant to Ugandans? Well, in short, they have meant 420 months. They have meant 12,775 days. They have meant 306,600 hours of the president of Uganda being Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And on 14th January 2021, he was declared president-elect, and we have been waiting patiently and faithfully for the day that he would be sworn in into his sixth term. Well, Uganda, the D-Day is finally here. The 12th of May 2021 that we have all been waiting for is finally here, and we are waiting for the swearing-in ceremony of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni. Now, coming to you from the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Good Morning Uganda is going to be giving you a live coverage of each and every portion of this event as it unfolds before the eyes of every single Ugandan. My name is Priscilla Naloga, and may I say good morning to you, Uganda. Felix Nkunda is here joining me this morning, and I'm pretty sure he is smiling because he's equally one that has been talking about this day for a while. Felix Nkunda, good morning.
Good morning, Priscilla. How are you? It is good to have you this morning. Again, as you did say, it is another beautiful day that causes true celebration in the heart of Africa, in the Pearl of Africa, in this beautiful country, Uganda. Now today, we will be also witnessing the swearing in of the president-elect, that is His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Now, something quite important for us to note, that this trajectory of leadership has also sprung since 1986. Now, also we'll be drawing into focus how far we have come, how far we can go, what dreams do we share with this new government. Of course, amidst a couple of challenges, all will be highlighted in this show, but most importantly, we're also bringing you live coverage of what will be happening in Kololo as His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni swears in. Also, just to note, a couple of dignitaries started jetting into this country yesterday to show solidarity, but also to embrace and also endorse and appreciate the leadership of one great son of Africa, one true Pan-Africanist. Also, some people called him a rebel, but now he is the President of the Republic of Uganda. Today will be a special day that will cause formation. We await to hear what new will come in the next 5 years of his leadership. We await to know how he plans to take on this country amidst all the opportunities, but also marred with a couple of challenges. Nevertheless, we do this with my brother also, Chidabo Robert Nyonyi Ntono on the other side. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Felix. Good morning, Priscilla. Good morning, everybody watching this show this morning. Well, it is a day to celebrate as we come to an end of our electoral process in Uganda. Just to take you back, we remember during the times of COVID-19 when the Electoral Commission came out and issued that was a revised roadmap that began seeing off campaigns and preparations. Then we had campaigns, and of course that was a tough time to some level. Then after we went to the actual day of casting our votes, where Yoweri Kaguta Museveni emerged a winner with 58.38% of the votes that were cast, about 6 million of the 10 votes plus that were cast by Ugandans. Then now we thank the Lord that today is a day we are going to see President-elect Yoweri Museveni Kaguta Tibuhaburwa take oath for yet another term. We want to thank God, for this is yet another milestone on our democratic calendar that begins with campaigns, elections and all that, and today we'll be crowning it all with a new president. That is something, of course, we must thank God. It's not for every nation, but we've achieved this, and the main ceremony is going to be at Kololo Independence Ceremonial Grounds, like my colleagues have said. That is something that we want to thank. But of course, just to remind you that we'll be giving you events as they unfold right from Kololo. So you don't have to be there, you just have to be glued on UBC TV for you to observe and understand every moment as it unfolds.
Also bringing into focus must be the fact that this day will also mark the handing to power, instruments of power, but also the approval and also beaconing of the instruments that shall prove sovereignty of the country like Uganda, and also the realization and also focus on who else has the right to be in charge. Now, the Constitution calls the President the fountain of honor, the head of every level of civility in this country, and also the army will call him the chief of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Yeah, the CIC. Anyway, aren't you excited, Priscilla?
I am excited. I'm very, very excited. There's been so many conversations of And indeed, in a few hours, Agenda Kuraira, and here on Good Morning Uganda, we're going to be giving you every live update. But as you know, as any person would have an event in their home, they would invite friends, family to come and celebrate with them a milestone. And here in Uganda, we have invited special friends to the country that are going to be joining us in this swearing-in ceremony, and they will be there to witness President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni swearing into his 6th term.
Well, of course, something also quite interesting, Priscilla, as you did talk about the dignitaries that we expect to have in this country. Yesterday, many of them were seen jetting into the country. At least I was privileged to know that the President of Somalia, Republic of Somalia, is in the country. The President of Zimbabwe, that is Emerson Mnangagwa, the dignitaries from South Africa. We saw also a couple
in the country.
Already in the country, and many
more.
The
President and the First Lady from Burundi are also here to support.
Yes, Ndayishimiye is also here.
Yes, we'll be having President Uhuru Kenyatta coming in this morning.
Yes,
I think he's going to take a walk.
Yeah, he'll be jogging to Uganda. Don't be surprised if you see the guy showing up in his jogging kit, because Uganda, Kenya are just across the borders. But anyway, far from that, Priscilla, something also quite interesting about today is that we are celebrating, as much as swearing is going on, but we're celebrating a leadership that ushered us from a particular kind of leadership. When you look at the first swearing in 1986, the beauty or the funny thing is that it was done by a foreigner. It wasn't done by a Ugandan who was bestowed or who actually gave the instruments of power to then swearing-in President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Today, we have been through a number of swearing-in ceremonies, and the same have been taken over by Ugandans. You know, you're looking at the likes of Benjamin Odoki,
the Chief Justices that have
been doing this. What does this mean for us? At the handing of the first swearing-in, you have an English person, and up till today, you have enormous people who can do this diligently. Isn't this great?
This is great, but it also goes to show you the milestone that we have walked as the nation of Uganda, to be able to have more control over our own democracy and practicing it in a way that is more relational to us as Uganda. And we see it of course, as you have mentioned, that now we have an entire team, right from the Chief Justice, the Electoral Commission, and the likes of Parliament. Everyone is now Ugandan, so it's more or less like boo-boo. We are Ugandans, and we are building Uganda into another 5 years.
Indeed. But just to draw a quite peculiar insight in exactly what happened, you look at 86, you have Alan Kokuza from England, and is actually passing on instruments of power, and that particular was a milestone, was a landmark into how events would be run thereafter. You come into 1996. Now, remember 1996, we had already organized or had our constitutional, the CA was already formed. We already had done our constitution. We had organized ourselves into a prepared state that would be civility would be recognized internationally.
That would give the president at the time more pressure to preserve, to protect, to defend us by the constitution that was created in 1995. And no
wonder, when you look at the constitution of Uganda, if you read what we call the preamble, it does take cognizance of where the country has been. Now, the Odochi Commission was keen to emphasize that we draft a constitution that doesn't cease to live or reflect the true picture of who we are, where we have been, and where we want to go. Now, that also the same was evidenced in the 1996, where we saw the swearing-in, which was done by a Chief Justice of the land. Now, since then we have had the same. I think in 2001 we also had that is Benjamin Odochi. 2006 and Benjamin Odochi.
Then we had 2011.
Same thing. Then 2016 we had Bati Katurebe, and most recent today the expectation will be Alfonso Winyi.
Felix,
is
I love that
more
observation.
Interesting privilege.
Indeed.
I love that observation, because always I was offended by what happened when we've just gotten our independence. If you remember very well, by then Prime Minister Milton Obote, because we didn't have a president at independence, it was the Prime Minister who received the instruments of power. But then you saw allegiance to the Queen of England and those that will follow the throne. And I was like, people, we are getting our independence. But Dr. Milton Obote is swearing oath, and he says, I'll bear allegiance, that is to the Queen and those that will follow her throne. Then, of course, even when Sir Edward Mutesa, the first president of the Republic of Uganda, who took office, that is on the 9th of October 1963, that is just remind you, actually it was in 1963 when we had our first president, Sir Edward Mutesa II. Also similar, we had something that Felix has been talking about. But this time now, we look at from 1996, where we've had the privilege of ensuring that when a person is taking oath as the president, yes, we have the Bible, we have our constitution, and despite being under the Commonwealth, it is entirely Uganda originated and taking allegiance on behalf, in favor of Ugandans. So that is an achievement that we've been able to see over through our democratic process of this country and as an independent state.
Well, of course, had spoken about earlier, Robert and Priscilla, how pressing this function will be causing a lot of diplomacy. And as I said earlier, that in as much as it may not cause so much pomp, but this is endorsement. Now, when you see, for example, Priscilla, you talked about when you have a party or you have a ceremony at your place, the people who come matter so much because they either agree with what you're doing or they are not coming, shows that they may not disagree in that realm.
Or they have been part of the journey of whatever it is that you celebrate.
Exactly, or they celebrate what you have achieved.
Yes.
Now today, as we too look at the swearing-in ceremony of this country, today in particular swearing-in of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, a number of dignitaries were invited.
That is true.
Some of them invited themselves, we would assume, or for the love of this country or for the love of His Excellency. But nevertheless, these are the few or the many people that will be expected in terms of VIPs in the sense of diplomats.
Well, the list is going to be growing as the day also kicks in, but we do have the delegations of the presidential swearing-in ceremony today, and so far we have received His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi, and that is the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He's also the chairperson for the African Union. We do have an expectation of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya, but he also dubs as the chairperson for the East African Community Summit. We do have His Excellency Alpha Conde, who is with us in the country, and he has woken up to Good Morning Uganda, President of the Republic of Guinea. We do have His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, and that is the President of the Republic of South Sudan. We do have an expectation for the President of the Republic of Namibia, and that is His Excellency Hage. Then you do have His Excellency Nana Odo Dankwa Akufo, although he has been recently re-elected into the President of the Republic of Ghana office. Then we also do have other expectations. We do have the Republic of Burundi also being represented by the First Lady and His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye. And then we also do have the expectation of the latest president on the African continent and the first female president of the nation of Tanzania, and that is Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, and that is the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. The list is going to be going on, and we're going to be giving you an update as and when they come through.
Well, of course, still looking at some of the people that we expect to do coming in, or all those that are actually already here. Again, just to pick up from where Priscilla did leave, we're looking at His Excellency Yemi Osibajo, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Malik Aga Aye Ngayofu, a member of a Transitional Sovereign Council for the Republic of Sudan, His Excellency Rose Christine, that is Her Excellency Osuka, that is Rapaponda, President of the Republic of Gabon, and Dr. Nalendi Panda, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Simeon Oyongo Egu, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Equatorial Guinea, Honorable Tete Antonio, Minister of External, Regional and Special Envoy to the His Excellency João Lourenço, President of Republic of Angola, His Excellency Carlos Cilia, Minister and Combatant of the Republic of Mozambique, Honorable Mohamed Saleh Kud Selim, Minister of Foreign Affairs, that is Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, that is His Excellency also Sabri Bodakum, Minister of Foreign Affairs, that is the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Just those among the very many that we will be giving you and updating you as they come in. But also, again, today, remember, has been also designated to be a public holiday per the instructions of the Uganda government. Now, for the letter that was released yesterday from the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Service, today was a day gazetted to only cause ceremonies for the swearing in that will take place in Kololo. Also be limited to the movements in terms of traffic. Later on we shall be looking at that, which routes are safe for you to use, which areas you can maneuver through yourself in case you have an emergency, where cars won't be allowed, what cars will be allowed, and of course the deployment has also been intensified for all our protection. Not to scare Ugandans, I must say,
not
but
to
for our
intimidate
protection.
Ugandans.
No.
Yes.
Intimidation is the last thing we need on a day where we celebrate the swearing in of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. But again, curfew guidelines have been intensified by also the guidance we got from Uganda Police yesterday. The spokesperson, Fred Enanga, came out to say that they are going to pick up from where they left because COVID-19 is also getting back on the rise, and the scare of the new wave of COVID-19. Borders time should be 6 p.m. and of course lorry drivers, private cars and all these people must stop at 9 p.m.
I've had the privilege of passing by some police stations on our way here, and they're actually full of borders. They did intensify, and there's so many borders at every police station. And so please do have that in mind, that whatever it is that you intend to do today, it's going to be strict terms and conditions applying, and there will be no excuse. The law will apply to you. Robert Shirabu, we do have other reflections from yesterday.
Yes, Felix and Priscilla, thank you so much. Indeed, we must, of course, congratulate Ugandans, all Ugandans, because when our president is sworn in, he's a president for everybody in Uganda. For this milestone and having come safe from the far till this day. Like Priscilla and Felix said, you must be very, very aware that security is tight, and you must ensure that you abide by the regulations. I saw border motorcyclists looking for where to spend the night because the motorcycles had been impounded, and there was, of course, and was some distance, so they were looking for places where they can spend the night. So please avoid being a victim of something that you already know. Curfew time is something we all know, and also ensure that you're within security. But so much happened yesterday, including, as we speak, Parliament came to an end. The 10th Parliament came to an end, and that was with the passing of a supplementary budget of about 694 billion there, that is going to be focusing on a couple of things, as the speaker said. But let's take a look at some of the stories that made headlines. Of course, like my colleague said, they were the arrivals of presidents that are going to join the inauguration of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. As many arrived there, we had the president of Burundi, the president of Somalia, the president of Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Sudan, Namibia, and also Guinea. 6 African presidents in Uganda arrived for Museveni's inauguration. They're already in the country. Still looking at what transpired there, Priscilla will be giving us that.
We do have security that has been heightened in and around Kampala ahead of the President Museveni's swearing-in ceremony to ensure safety and peace of Ugandans, not excluding countering any attacks of lawlessness and demonstrations that may find their way in the streets of Kampala. With less than 24 hours of a presidential swearing-in ceremony of incumbent President Museveni, different state security agencies are not taking chances. All key strategic locations in and around roads to the capital, Kampala, are heavily manned with a cocktail of specialized forces, UPDF, police, and other security actors in covert and overt operations. The central business district is well secured. Areas that are heavily deployed include the Kampala City Square, downtown Kampala, areas of Chiseka, and the National Unity Platform head offices in Kamwokya under tight surveillance. We took the narrative to residents and businessmen in Kampala about the deployment, and surely they had their 2 cents to say about it, but nevertheless, it's just a one-day event, and then business is going to be back to normal tomorrow.
Still on the swearing-in that is going to happen today, President Museveni will today take oath of office for his 6th presidential term. Museveni took helm as president 35 years ago, after a guerrilla war that liberated Uganda from the vulnerability of which people were misusing the gun and violating the rights of Ugandans, which happened after post-independence governments had conspired to hand power over. In this report, our reporter, that is Samuel Senono, looked at President Museveni as a president, which has been accomplished by a long period of peace, no mass development changes, thus making him Uganda's choice for president over the years. Speaking as president for the first time at the stairs of parliament, Museveni indicated it wasn't a mere change of guards, but rather a fundamental change. Taking over as president of a politically, economically, socially, and internationally vulnerable country, Museveni's early years in office were those aimed at correcting the country's dark past. He soon embarked on numerous peace and reconciliation efforts with various splinting rebel groups. First was the peace deal linked between over 2,000 former soldiers of the exiled former President Idi Amin, led by Ali Bamoze and Brigadier Moses Ali. At the event, Museveni extended an olive branch to all other rebel outfits and also promised integration and economic support for rebels who surrendered. Faced with another uprising in northern Uganda, the LRA, Lord's Resistance Movement, led by Joseph Kony, and the ADF in western Uganda, led by now imprisoned Jamilu Mukulu, Museveni also set out to defeat these insurgencies. Well, it is a big day indeed in Uganda, where we are seeing the entire country concentrating on one activity, which is the swearing in of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He's the 9th president of Uganda. If you are to look through Priscilla and of course Felix and our viewers, remember that our first president was Sir Edward Mutesa, the second, who was followed by Dr. Milton Obote. Then we saw Idi Amin coming in, that is also ruling Uganda. Professor Yusuf Chironde Rure also took power there. Then we had Godfrey Rukongwa, Bina Isa, Apple Milton Obote for the second time, Tito Okello Rutua, and then we see President Museveni from the rebel group coming in. They are then taking oath till today, who has ensured the success and democratic processes of Uganda prevail.
Now, of course, as we do look at that, again, there are many other activities and, of course, functions that do take place in this country in relation to leadership and governance, but also taking cognizance to the fact that government actually closes. Today marks the end of term for His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and so did it mark the same for Parliament yesterday as they had their last sitting. So, as we speak today, there is no August House,
yes, there
no
is no
Pigeon Hall, no member of Parliament.
Actually, when it comes to the order of swearing-in ceremony, the first thing that they do on such a day is to lower the presidential standard flag to show that for now, the state is by itself and everyone for themselves until the new president is sworn in. And then that very same flag, the presidential standard flag, is then raised back to state the mark of a new term in office.
Now, that again leaves us with the expectation that today we have His Excellency the President, and of course swearing in, and the aftermath is when he does choose the people he will work with in terms of cabinet ministers, Chief Justice, and all other positions, just to mention but a few. We pray and hope and also wish that this function goes on well without any challenges. Normally rain is a blessing, but that blessing today we want to push it. We want to push that blessing to tomorrow.
Molen will let us know.
Definitely,
what the fetch of
she
the
will
day
be.
is in
She'll be
terms
telling
of
us how weather will be
climate.
looking like today, and maybe also it will be good for some of our dignitaries to experience the showers and rain showers. Well, anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, me, Robert, and Priscilla will be picking up from this point again, discussing today's function and also giving you an insight in what to expect at Kololo today. And remember, we'll be covering these events live here on UBC.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in our own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by authentically symbolic and insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odong Top, was brought to you by...
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
Prosper with Airtel Money today. Agent application and registration is free of charge. All you need to submit as a sole proprietor business is a letter from the business owner requesting for a SIM card and the purpose of the SIM card. Certified copy of Certificate of Registration of the Business issued by URSB. Certified copy of Statement of Particulars of the registered business and supporting statutory declaration in verification of the particulars. Copy of valid trading license. Copy of operational license issued by the relevant regulatory authority. Copy of TIN certificate issued by URA. Valid national ID for Ugandan proprietor or passport for foreign national, including a valid immigration entry permit, work permit, visa, or residence certificate. Colored passport size photograph of the proprietor and handler of the business. Proof of current physical address of the business, tenancy agreement or utility bill in the name of the proprietor or landlord, or LC1 introduction letter confirming ownership and location of the business. You will be informed of your application status within a maximum of 5 working days, still free of charge. Upon successful agent application, Airtel will provide training and customized branding material for your business location, still free of charge. To register, call us today on 126 toll-free. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless. Airtel is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
It is Good Morning Uganda and welcome to the 12th day of May 2021, the year that is going to go down in the books of history. My name is Priscilla Naluga. Now, it was 2016 in the very same month that we are in today when the very same similar event took place. In 2016, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was sworn in for his 5th term. And in his oath, he started by saying, and I quote, "I, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will exercise the functions of the President of Uganda." Now, he did not just stop there, but in consideration of every other statute, every other consideration of a constitution, in consideration of the laws of Uganda, he went ahead to make another commitment to us as Uganda, and he said that he would not only protect, but he would also preserve and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. But also he added that he would observe what we call the laws of the land. And it's been 5 years of that commitment to Ugandans, and you can analyze it for yourself. But here on Good Morning Uganda, we now see him making yet another oath to Ugandans, making another promise to Ugandans, getting into contract with Uganda once again for the next 5 years. And we're going to be continuing, but we must have a flashback of where it all started from and what's the journey been like. Robert and Felix here to give us that analysis.
Well, thank you so much, Priscilla. Like you rightly said, that when the president was, of course, taking oath, that is the last term that now has come to an end. He took oath just to respect the constitution. But for me, I just want to take a flashback to Ugandans as we come to this. One very important statement of President Museveni, among the so many, that many Ugandans can never forget, is the statement he made as he was being sworn in the year 1968. And this was at the stairs of Parliament. He said, "No one should think that what is happening today is a mere change of guard. It is a fundamental change in the politics of our country." And I want to say that statement, till today, President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has maintained it. To verify this, Felix, and of course present our viewers, we must remember that when Uganda got her independence in 1962, the post-independence governments had problems of leadership, and these were being removed by the power of the barrel of the gun. Let's just take a look to verify this statement. This is 1986. When you look at Milton Obote getting instruments of power, that is on independence, yes, there's some period, but then came uncertainties. We had Sir Edward Mutesa, who took, we had Edward Mutesa, Felix and Priscilla. Here we see Edward Mutesa takes on 1963. And he only had on the 2nd of March till 1966. What happened? The power of the gun. We go to Milton Obote. He took office, that is on the 15th of April, 1966. On the 25th of January 1971, it was the gun. He was gone. Come to Idi Amin. From 25th of January 1971 to 11th of April, that is 1979, power of the gun. Yusuf Chironde Rure, that is 13th of April 1979 to 20th June 1979, not even a year in power. Then we come to Godfrey Rukongwa Binaisa. From 20th of June to, that was 1979, to 12th of May 1980. You just see that was still not that. Then we have Apo Milton Obote returns, 12th December 1980 to, that is 27th July 1985. Then Tito Okello Rutwa, who took it from the 29th of July 1985 to the 26th of January 1986. You see that all this, there's uncertainty. From 1986 till today, it wasn't a mere change of guards, but a fundamental change in the politics of Uganda, that even today we are going to see President-elect Yoweri Museveni take oath, that is to take Uganda for the 6th term of a period of 5 years. So that is something, Felix, that really, as we get to this, we must understand that yes, we've had a fundamental change in the politics of our country.
Well, clearly, as Robert has given you the background of exactly what took place and how we have transited from the then colonial governance up till the present day. Now, we have also been, something quite important to note from the trajectory of leaders you have given, Chirabo, is the fact that there has been a back tapping of the neo-colonialism that has been present. And no wonder this continuously affected or the short living of most political leaders, presidents. And you can spring from the first president. How long did they take in power? You know, and I think up till today, His Excellency the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is the most or the longest serving president, and that probably gives a true definition of the statement he made about the fundamental change. Something that we must also bring to our viewers today, and the bedrock of the functions of today are anchored into the principle of, or the philosophy, or the writings and the proponents of one scholar, that is Jean-Jacques, that is when they talk about social contracts. And for me, I want to bring this in quite evidence. What we see today, and why we talked about earlier, the emblems, those elements, the objects of national sovereignty, and why they are handed over to a president, it is all resonant in what we call under political science or legal rhetorics to be a social contract. Now, the philosopher argues in this school of thought that people have rights, societies have rights. They congregate into rights that could be under natural law, morality, you can talk about social interest, human rights, just to mention but a few. Now, as we own all these rights, because we cannot, all of us, exercise these rights in uniqueness. You know, that Chirabo, it cannot be you to exercise your right as Chirabo against me in any way you want. We must agree together as a society to enter into a social contract. And that's why a country like Uganda now formalizes these rights and puts them into a constitution. No wonder it comes off to be called a grand norm. Now, the grand norm in terms of it is the highest law of a particular land or particular society for that matter. But in this particular case, Uganda, we did come up with a constitution. No wonder when you look at the Odochi Commission in 94, 95, when they had to go around the whole country to collect these views, was to be able to cater for all the views of Ugandans. Now, to spring from that to give us the MOO, from that is where the emanation of the right for someone to lead. When you go to the chapter 7 of the Constitution, talks about the president, that there shall be a president of the Republic of Uganda and whatever follows. It means that the president will preside, and the word comes from presiding. That's where we get the word president. Now, he shall preside over a nation called Uganda, a sovereign nation called Uganda. Now, in reasonate, but again, in respect of those rights that have been subdued to him by the population or the citizens. And that's what forms a social contract. Now, today, the president will swear in to take charge or to renew this agreement, this contract. Now, a contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more people. We are having a social contract with the president today as a country in terms of him securing one, or protecting one, our rights as Ugandans, leading Ugandans with vision, definitely. Third, also to grow Ugandans, but also fourth, to the Uganda-based word would say that, like okututegerera in terms of leadership, to represent. Actually, if you're to go down into the functions of the president, you look at one of the most important duties is representation. That's why the people are called diplomats, that when they walk, they carry with themselves the whole stature of Uganda. And why is it? Because today you will see handing to the elected president what we call the national emblems. And that those include, but not limited to, one, the Uganda national flag, the Uganda coat of arms, and the other instruments of power that are given?
Well, the instruments of power that will be handed to him, that is the Constitution. We'll have the national flag, the presidential standards flag. Then we shall have the national anthem, the national coat of arms, and the public seal. So once he has that, then, and after, of course, the swearing in, we'll have a new president for a term of 5 years. That is something that really we look at. But also, Felix, this time around, we come at a time where we're going to have a unique swearing-in ceremony. First and foremost, because of the numbers. About 4,042 guests are expected. That is self-explanatory. We are in a time of COVID-19. So it may not be the usual way of doing things. However, standard operating procedures have been observed, and the guests are going to be in tents of clusters of 200 to 200 to fill up that number. Yes, Priscilla.
Well, first of all, let's look at the way the order of the event is going to roll out. Now, every single time Uganda goes through this season, the first thing that happens is the lowering of the presidential standard flag, which has already been done. Now, this means that the state does not have any leadership. It does not have any parliament. It is just waiting for the swearing in of the new president and then the others that have to be sworn in thereafter. Now, after that is done, we will be having the arrival of the president-elect, in this case, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Habura Museveni. Thereafter, we will be having the presidential swearing in. And this time around, the presidential swearing in is going to be conducted by Chief Justice Alfonso Owini Dolo. He will be taking the president through the oath and the commitment to Ugandans for the next 5 years. Thereafter, he will be handed the instruments of power that show that he's now been given the mandate. He's been given the authority to exercise the functions of the office of the presidency. And then, of course, we'll be looking thereafter to raising yet again the flag for the presidential standard flag. It will be raised again, and this will be an indicator. It will mark that then the next 5 years have begun of the presidential term. Thereafter, we will be having a parade that will be passing by, a 21-gun salute, and pretty much that will be closed. Now, I know you have heard of these instruments of power. You may be asking yourself, what are the instruments of power? I had the privilege of actually witnessing one of them live. We had them in Parliament, and I saw the coat of arms. It was so big, it was so impressive. I actually asked the person who was giving us a tour around if this whole huge thing, it's literally the space I'm in right now. I asked, do they hand all of this to the president? They say no. There is a smaller version that is handed over on national duties such as today. Now, the full instruments of the power of a presidency, we get to look at the Constitution of Uganda, which came through in the year 1995, and it was adapted into 1996 when the president became yet again sworn in at that year. Then we also have the national flag, and we can all relate with the national flag because of the colors: the yellow, which represents the sun, the red, which represents brotherhood, and the black, which represents the very soils that actually feed Ugandans in every form of way, sustainable and also economical. We get to look at the presidential standard flag, which is also part of the instruments of the president. And then we also get to look at the national anthem. It's also part of the instruments of power that are given to the president. And finally, the coat of arms and the public seal of the Republic of Uganda are also handed over to the president that has been sworn in for the next 5 years. And in this case, it is His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Habura Museveni. So congratulations, Mr. President, in advance, as the day is kicking in for you. I know there's some pressure somewhere, some breakfast, some bananas here and there, as the president and the first lady are getting prepared to go to Kololo ceremonial grounds. Now, just to remind you, traffic has been changed here and there. We'll be giving you a traffic update of what it looks like, especially for any routes that are connecting main and feeder to the ceremonial grounds. And we'll also be looking at the weather of what that is looking like. Thank you so much, Robert.
Priscilla, thank you so much for taking us through how the day is going to be, and of course the events that are how they are going to be unfolding. But just remind you that once the ceremony begins, we'll be taking you at Koro ceremonial grounds, so you do not have to panic in case you're not going to attend, because we know we're in a COVID-19 and attendance is strictly on invitation. So just sit, remain glued to UBC TV. You have events as they'll be unfolding. But this is a time when His Excellency is going to be swearing in for his 6th consecutive term. We must recall that that is also another achievement, that we have had that consecutivity when it comes to the leadership of President Yoweri Museveni, and of course with invited guests. Many will be at the airstrip today to celebrate this wonderful day. Felix, what are some of your memories of these swearing-in ceremonies?
Well, most of them have happened when I was still a young man. Most of them have happened when I'm still in school, because you can imagine by 86 I wasn't born, so I wouldn't attribute to that. When it comes to 1996, I was still a Shimoni lad. 2001, must say. I think I started appreciating a bit of politics. But you know, most of those early swearing-ins were basically us embracing we used to see a lot of jets in the air, a lot of plane deployment, and you know, a couple of all those things, but not necessarily much attention to the detail. But at least by 2011, I guess I was interested in some of the matters that did take toll in terms of politicking. But as we do cause into swearing in today, we have brought in a couple of things that I think must also cause good attention to us, Robert, as we discuss this day. There are things that are highlighted, all right? One of them is that let's look at the trajectory. His Excellency said the fundamental change. I want you to make comparison in terms of education. Today we have a very big population of educated people. That's for starters, as a matter of fact. And maybe we also should congratulate the ministry, the government, and His Excellency for his efforts. I remember one of the days when he was celebrating, I think Labour's Day somewhere in Toro, in there. And he said that when he was introducing UPE, many people were against him. I remember him using the phrase, the Uganda phrase, saying that abali basekerera. And clearly, if any of you has been through the process of education, you know how much this has caused. Now, that also brings into connection issues of health. You look at health. Before he came into power, if you remember, one of the biggest challenges then was the low mortality rate, where we had a lot of kids dying from a couple of diseases, and among them was polio. We had other immunizable diseases, measles, just to mention but a few. But up till today, we see that there are some avoidable diseases that you have not heard of in the last 20 or 30 years. For example, when was the last time you had a polio case? I don't know. Like it more or less doesn't exist anymore. You know, you also look at other like HIV, which had become a big problem in this country. You look at the level of mothers who used to die then in terms of when they're giving birth, access to medical services. Also, probably interesting people into sciences, which is a drum he has been sounding time and again. So as we swear in today the president, there are a lot of things we must reflect on. There are things we would want to look at in as much as we have challenges, but we have grown greatly in terms of that. Look at infrastructure. There's no way to talk about His Excellency Yoweri Museveni and don't discuss the enormous infrastructure developments. For example, look at the number of dams. Look at the road network in this country. You know, look at the industrialization in this country. Today we have a number of industrial parks, and these are actually shared out in different parts of the country. You want to also discuss the aspect of import rate vis-a-vis export. You know, 10 years, 30 years ago, how much were we exporting versus today, how much are we exporting? Because we would want to traject growth in terms of how much we can give out. Secondly or thirdly, you want to look at the aspect of revenue collection, okay? Because all these things, why they are important for us to bring into light is us to appreciate why maybe Ugandans chose that way. Why is it the president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni,
a country that was collecting about 5 billion today, when you talk about trillions and trillions,
but
and how far we've gone to fund our budget.
Let's look at also security.
Yes.
Today, every day you and me have been doing stories on Africa. Let us keep it in Africa. of how many countries have instabilities. Some of them are internally geared, external, all these challenges. Uganda...
Where many countries actually, Felix, on that, we had issues of coups becoming coups, then you had after elections, some managing the post-election process being a challenge. But we've seen this kicking off in Uganda, where you cannot talk of a coup for the last 35 years. We've not had such challenges. It's been leadership in terms of democratically elected leader taking oath for yet another period. And that has been, I think, one of the yardsticks of the NRA. And of course, the president is going to be, the president-elect that is going to be sworn in today, that one of the core values, even under the fundamental, if you look at the 10-point program, of course, democracy, but peace is something that we must say they have been able to cling to and actually ensure it prevails in the land, which wasn't the case of the previous regimes.
Well, Chirabo, as I was saying earlier, that having looked at a couple of other achievements that the president has been able to bring in, and of course his team, maybe that is what causes people's repulse to continuously maybe bring him back into power. But nevertheless, amidst all these achievements, we also take into cognizance some of the challenges we face up till today. And as we preempt the speech of the president, we preempt a vision or a light or a forecast in what he may promise to do as he gets his new term, is the challenges of probably the growing numbers of the youth, first and foremost. Now, this number comes with itself a challenge of unemployment.
And that takes us also to that.
Now, government has also brought in a couple of, mitigating factors. We have seen other projects. We saw in a couple of different terms springing from many of them. We have seen Bonabagagawale, you saw, then I think most recent we had the
Emyoga.
Emyoga is just, I think, but the previous ones, wealth creation, yes. You had Operation Wealth Creation, you had the NADS, you had all these ones are geared towards trying to eliminate unemployment, but also to empower people financially. But the question is, as evaluation goes on and on about some of these projects, how far have they come? But secondly, now we are living in a country where we signed a fundamental oil deal. What is the president about to say about that? When you look at in terms of labor export, something that he has also mentioned, but most recent also, if you remember the most recent address he made in terms of on the Labor Day, if I'm not mistaken, he talked about issues of energy, power, where he came off so bitter. We expect to see a bit of these things change. With the new laws that have been passed in Parliament, we have had a couple of laws being passed by Parliament. What is going to be his comment? So just those among the very many things, we trying to preempt his speech. What will he be comment about the international relations? Look at the most recent challenges of the East African community. The beauty is that we shall have the most the recent head or the head of the summit, that is the Honorable His Excellency Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya is the head. We have a lot of questions to answer. Are we where we should be in terms of the integration? You know, the challenges of Sudan in terms of also interstate transactions. So we are trying to preempt and see what we'll be expecting to come from.
And of course, we are also waiting for that inaugural speech where the president will highlight a couple of issues, and that is one of the reasons why you should not miss actually following events as they unfold in Kololo there. Yes, Priscilla, yesterday there was a state dinner. Did you attend? As a report, did you?
Well, you know, Robert, we are in a new normal whereby it must be strictly by invitation, because we must observe the SOPs, and social distancing is one of them. And of course, if you're going to be coming anywhere close to the president, you must go through a COVID-19 testing. Your results must come out negative just in time for you to attend a state dinner. Now, that did not happen for me. But before we go away from the discussion that you are having, the aftermaths of these swearing-in ceremonies, how about we look at also the aftermaths that happened on some of the swearing in? I mean, let's look at 2016. One of the peculiar events that happened away from the ceremonial grounds was Colonel Kizza Besigye coming into the heart of the city, and he says that he was going for his FDC inauguration ceremony. In between there, media reported that he was arrested and he was taken to an unknown location. Thereafter, there was a media blackout on any opposition functions, events, or news for that matter. What was your reflection on this incident?
Priscilla, one of the things that I've come to understand is we must, as Ugandans, know what is a national function. Because many a times we've had para events because people do not understand that we are having a national function and how to conduct yourself, even in a home. When you have visitors, you could have differences, but there are certain things that for the good of that home, that you do not bring out your dirty linen, or you know how best to conduct yourself. I remember, like you said, it wasn't really a very good time by then. Even we saw some of our heads of states that were returning having some issues there along their way. So it is really important that we focus on what is national. We need to put nation first before anything, and this is the time to do that.
Okay, all right. I do have another one for Felix Nkunda, but let's take a short break. When we return, we're going to be looking at more. There is the program lineup for how the event is going to be going out. From arrivals, we're going to be looking at the traffic, how it's building up. Just to note that the Kampala-Jinja Highway is actually allowed for you to access. However, there are feeder roads that are not accessible to the public for the entire day today, and that may cause a lot of traffic, just as we saw it last night. It is Good Morning Uganda. You are watching the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, and we are here to give you a live coverage all throughout until the close of the day. Stay tuned.
Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding affection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we learn, because it's those things that bring us close together.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop, or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Teacher Management Information System, TMIS, is one of the innovations the Ministry of Education and Sports has rolled out to have all teachers register online. This is in line with the spirit of the National Teacher Policy to professionalize the teaching profession and the Ministry's effort to collate teacher data in a single database for better teacher management. Join us as we host officials of the Ministry of Education and Sports to discuss the Teacher Management Information System. The show is sponsored by the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, under the Norwegian Teacher Initiative in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Sports.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile. Because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens, our nice good weather, and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different, even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body, because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Prosper with Airtel Money today. Agent application and registration is free of charge. All you need to submit as a sole proprietor business is a letter from the business owner requesting for a SIM card and the purpose of the SIM card. Certified copy of Certificate of Registration of the Business issued by URSB. Certified copy of Statement of Particulars of the registered business and supporting statutory declaration in verification of the particulars. Copy of valid trading license. Copy of operational license issued by the relevant regulatory authority. Copy of TIN certificate issued by URA. Valid national ID for Ugandan proprietor or passport for foreign national, including a valid immigration entry permit, work permit, visa, or residence certificate. Colored passport size photograph of the proprietor and handler of the business. Proof of current physical address of the business, tenancy agreement or utility bill in the name of the proprietor or landlord, or LC1 introduction letter confirming ownership and location of the business. You will be informed of your application status within a maximum of 5 working days, still free of charge. Upon successful agent application, Airtel will provide training and customized branding material for your business location, still free of charge. To register, call us today on 126 toll-free. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless. Airtel is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Congratulations, Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, upon your inauguration as President of the Republic of Uganda. We at Ministry of ICT and National Guidance salute you and the people of the Pearl of Africa on the historic day. We deeply appreciate your significant role in seeking solutions to many of East Africa and Africa's political crisis and keeping us all in harmony. Your global advocacy on behalf of Africa is another example of your great leadership and calling beyond Uganda.
All right, it is a wonderful morning. The weather is still bearing with us and understanding that we must have a dry swearing in, but Bolin will be letting us know. We get to look at the 3D live coverage for the traffic and where it's looking like and what it's looking like in some of these regions that we talked about that are being affected by the swearing in ceremony. Now, looking at Nile Avenue, where we are broadcasting from, it's actually a very clean route. There's not a single vehicle on the road. You would be expecting another place to have some bit of traffic, and that would be the Kampala Ginger Road. And as of this morning, it also does not have any parking on the street. It doesn't have any vehicle that is accessing the street. There's also the square that has been promised to be heavily guarded this morning. Let's look at what the square looks like. Usually there are commuter taxis that are taking passengers to and from the heart of the city. And from the Independence Monument, you get to see that the routes are clear all through the square. You do have the Square 2 route, you have Speak Road and Shimoni Road. This area, you can only see vehicles that are in the parking of the Grand Imperial Hotel and also parking here for some of these buildings here. But we get to look at the square and Buganda Road. You get to see that this is where you do have the city square. and only parking in the judicial building, and then you just have a few vehicles that we are seeing here on the Kampala road. But then you get to see a clear road for this particular road, Shimoni route that connects to Uganda route. It's actually clear. Heading to CPS, it's actually clear route. So all around City Square, we are not seeing any traffic. Just a few vehicles, 1, 2, 3, 4 vehicles that are trying to use Speak Road and use the Sheraton roundabout there. Now, let us just take a walk back to where we're supposed to be having the grounds. Now, one of the routes that was told to us that is going to be having a blockage is the route that heads to Acacia Avenue. And we just want to head there and see what it looks like. But where we are on Nile Avenue, the route is clear. For the Oasis roundabout here, we also do see it very, very clear. There's not a single vehicle on the roundabout. Now let's take Yusuf Lule and then get onto Acacia and see what it looks like this morning. As you can see on Chintu Road, you get to then interface with the traffic lights, Shimoni Road, Chintu Road, and the likes. You do have Absa Bank head offices there. The route is clear. These are all shortcuts or feeder roads that people would be using to get into the Nile, the Acacia Avenue. Now on Yusuf Lule Road, this side you do have the golf course, and that is heavily guarded this morning. Look at Yusuf Lule. We do have the traffic lights there that take you onto Acacia route. Now, as you can see, right now, there's just a few vehicles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 vehicles on Yusuf Lule Road. You do have traffic that is coming in from Mulago. But now, when we look at the Acacia Avenue, it is off for any access to the public. It's only going to be accessed by the dignitaries, and the VIPs and members of parliament are going to be using this route. So let's just take a look at every vehicle that you are seeing on this route is surely a dignitary vehicle. It could be a bus, it could be a personal car, but they are going to be using this particular route, and they will be getting into Lower Kololo Terrace Road, and that will give them entry into the grounds right now. And there we do have the ceremonial grounds. As you can see, preparations are done and dusted, and we are seeing the 3D version of the Independence Park. This is where tents have been set up, and we do have the preparations for the dignitaries that have been set up. Of course, we do have the pavilion there that was recently also renovated or reconstructed, and it's expecting to have or sit some of those dignitaries there. Now you get to see Upper Kololo Terrace is also off access for public. You're not allowed to use this particular route, and as you can see, it's also clear all the way back to Acacia Avenue. This will also be another connecting route for dignitaries that are coming into this particular ceremony. Now, of course, there's the lower side of Kololo. Heading into Lugogo, you will have to see that there is some bit of traffic that is building up here, and now this is an access route for service providers. Media people are going to be using these routes. Special personnel that must attend are going to be using. Security forces are going to be using this Upper Kololo Terrace, and they will be accessing the ceremonial grounds through the main gate there. And so those are some of the vehicles that you are seeing on this route. But between Kololo Terrace and then Wampeo Avenue, you're not having many vehicles. You're mostly having people footing from wherever it is that they're coming through onto the ceremonial grounds. Now we get to see at those feeder roads, Archer Road is also going to be an access route from Ginger Road. It's going to be bringing in traffic, connecting it to Kololo Terrace, and then they will be able to get into the ceremonial grounds. You do have other access routes, Hesketh Bell that is coming in from the Lugogo bypass, and that is also a connecting route there, but it's only restricted for dignitaries. However, we were reliably informed that when it comes to the Kampala Ginger Highway, it's going to be traffic as usual, non-interrupted, because it is a trade route. We must keep it open. However, even though it's a trade route, it's a public holiday, and the consideration and advice is that you stay home in case you don't have anything serious to do in town. But also in the new normal, you can do it online. You can get onto your laptop, your phone, and send that email. You don't have to necessarily come into town. Also, also, fuel trucks and heavy-duty trucks are not allowed to access this area today. And so anyone that is having, a truck business, please put that into consideration, that your trucks, cement trucks and the sand trucks are not allowed to use these routes here today, especially the Kampala-Jinja highway. Now, we get to also look at the rest of the Kampala-Jinja highway, what it looks like this morning. And as you can clearly, vividly see, it's a clear route all the way. Past UMI, it's a clear route. You're just having a few 1, 2, 3 pointable vehicles that can be seen from our 3D mapping here. And then we get to see another jam now that is building up, surprisingly, and that is from Nakawa. We do have 4 lanes of traffic that have been made up here on the way from Nakawa accessing the Airtel roundabout. Now, obviously, because this route is sort of off passage here for anyone, you do have a lot of challenges for people accessing the Airtel roundabout. And then also interesting to note, you do have a lot of traffic that is coming in from Old Petbull Road. You do have traffic coming in from Bugolobi, Luzira, and obviously in consideration of the traffic guidelines, I'm pretty sure people that are coming in from Bugolobi and the likes are using this particular route to get into the heart of the city. Equally, Bwegere, Banda, Chireka are using the back route through Bugolobi to be able to access the heart of the city. And then it seems to be business as usual on the traffic lights for Ginger Road here. We get to see lots of vehicles coming in from Yusuf Rule. You do have lots of vehicles that are accessing Kampala Road. And then away from that, it seems to be business as usual. The jam has finally built up, as would be at this time. Well, we get to look at what is making headlines on the day the president is swearing in. What are the tabloids saying? What is the picture on the front page? Robert Tirobo.
Thank you, Priscilla, for that, and I'm now sure you know where to pass in case you're among the dignitaries that were invited to attend the inauguration of President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. But also, as the president will be swearing in today, yesterday, Felix, we saw Parliament being dissolved by the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, and as we speak, we'll have no Parliament until we expect the new members who are elected to take oath, and that will be between the 17th to the 20th of this very month. Thereafter, it is expected on the 21st of May, the Speaker and his deputy will be elected, and then we'll see Parliament once again. One of the things that we saw was passing, because we had to ensure some business is done, passing of the supplementary budget of 694 billion yesterday. Parliament coming to an end, the 10th Parliament, the term now expired.
Well, of course, that will cause interim remedies for us to do cause assessment, also to put it on a seesaw to find out. Now we have a basis of judgment. The 10th Parliament, has it done more good than harm? If you want to look at it, it has established itself through one of the major proponents is the Article 102B. You remember the Tojikwata Code that was at the helm of it. You look at other litigations, you've had fundamental investigations that emanated from Parliament. You saw how COSESA took on the Bank of Africa. We have had all these other commissions of inquiry. We have seen the speakership establishment of the institute. We've seen all these. We've seen the 10th Parliament by far also being marred by even the opposition antagonists. We've seen the change of the head of opposition time and again from Winnie Chiza to Awol, is it Awola Chan, something like that. And now, fundamentally, we have also seen another political party take twist into being the new opposition lead. Basically, there's so much to take home or to talk about in terms of how far this particular parliament has performed. But in terms of performance, I would want to bring this also to the attention of the domain of knowledge that we have seen more misuse of money, even in terms of allocation with this particular parliament. In as much as their budgets have grown and they have tried to grow all other institution budgets, not much have they done in terms of tightening, you know, in terms of when you look at accountability, helping the country, purposes of accountability, I think they were terribly wanting, because when you look at most of the inquests they made in terms of abuse and usage of national finances or government finances, or even national resources, none of very few of them we have gotten fruit. We saw all these nice meetings, these nice deliberations in Park, Kosase, human rights, where have they left us? So the challenge that is left with this particular parliament that is going out is that also their legacies are wanting, and that's for me a matter of fact. And I can take you on in terms of any member of parliament you will bring on board, you know. But also, we have seen that the coming into office of the 11th parliament brings into a big wide range of new. Actually, it is on record that this particular parliament is what it has the most new members, even for the ruling party, even for the opposition, new members. So I don't know if this brings into true expectation of something better than what we had, or it is also another threat in its own self, because at least by now we know that they have passed lots of
Of course, the 11th Parliament is even going to be a bit bigger than what the 10th Parliament has been. 529 members there is quite a big number. One thing we'll take home for the 10th Parliament, yes, they have done what they should have done in one way or the other, but also there has been dominancy in Parliament, that where you find that specific members of Parliament continuously in the 10th Parliament, you'd expect for any bill, I won't mention names, but so and so will come out and debate. So we've had this issue, and also one thing in the 10th Parliament has been the high rates of absenteeism. Felix, there's been some issue that over and over the Speaker has been mentioning, absenteeism, where members of Parliament fail to turn up. And this has been one thing that we'll remember when Felix talks about their legacy, that goes down on record. That has been a parliament of a lot of absenteeism there. But also, one of the things we've had in the 10th Parliament, much after they have done their budget allocation, this time around I want to commend them that we've had a couple of parliaments, but this 10th Parliament, we saw them interest themselves more when it comes to issues of allocating funds, priorities, scrutinizing, analyzing what has always been put forward. But of course, it is time we look at some of the stories that are in the print media. I have the New Vision and a big headline there, new term, the task ahead of President Yoweri Museveni. There is a picture of His Excellency holding the Bible, and I think, yes, he was definitely taking oath. Maybe this was 2016. Then also security advisory. Police advise non-essential trips into Kampala city. Please, if it's not essential, stay home. Do not come. Then Ugandans speak out on what they want the president to focus on in this sixth term. And priority, our needs. Uganda's message to Museveni. We remember it was this very week where the Buganda Ruchiko sat, and there are certain issues they presented. Then financial crimes, Ugandans lose billions in doggy saving schemes there. And Mushega named education review boss.
Well, of course, in the Daily Monitor, we'll be looking at the 10 issues that Museveni faces in his new term. And one of them is unemployment, which could spark conflict. Also, we're looking at dump startings, of course, the economy and remains key. And we're looking at corruption and worsens country's image. And, of course, land wrangles and unsettling Ugandans. Now, of course, with 35 years of the job, President Museveni will today receive instruments of power for the 6th elective term in office. As he resumes the journey, the work is cut out for him. Now, of course, again, still in the Daily Monitor, we're looking at General Museveni, the region's security doyen since 1986. Now, of course, in the homes pullout, what if building is a key fundamental for our future? Now, Speaker Kadaga dissolves the 10th Parliament and joy as Kenya lifts ban on Uganda maize. But of course, now here the lizard comes out to say, are there those that don't want to leave? Kadaga dissolves Parliament. Well, of course, now inside still the papers, we're looking at security surrounds Bobby and Besige's homes. And police and the army on Monday surrounded these two individuals' homes. Now, Chigezi records 25 killings in 1 month. Now, that's very, very bothering. Of course, from the archives, border cyclists carry passengers through a flooded Karerwe Boise Road in Kampala. That is in 2000. 3. Now, of course, today in history, Uganda chiefs address British Parliament, and of course in Uganda's first French commercial company.
In the new vision, still we look at COVID-19 statistics, the death tolls there, where we see the death toll in Rwanda is 338, coming to our neighbors in Tanzania 2,907. Then we go to South Sudan, that has 115 so far. Worst countries I now focus on Africa, where we see South Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Libya. Today in history, it was on this very date, the 12th of May, the year 1980, when President Bina Issa was overthrown. Still in history, it was on this day, the 12th of May, but the year 2007, when the first Brazilian saint was canonized. Know your member of parliament? Who have they brought you on this swearing-in day of His Excellency? That is Peter Rokeri, MP, Kwechi County and Moroto County. They bring you Samuel Okwer. Yes, Felix, the word of sports.
Well, of course, in sports, now we're looking at contenders clash, and we're looking at URA Vipers just for Star Times Uganda Premier League and the title race advantage as Express lacks there. Now, Uganda land favourite France in Olympics, qualifiers poll there. But of course, also English Premier League now start contracts Arsenal face the daunting task of a short journey west at Stamford Bridge there. But of course, here inside, we're looking at sports under Museveni from amateur to semi-pro and pro. Now toward the Rwanda legend Matovu Louds Kajimu, but of course also Cobbs back in the familiar territory.
Well, the new vision sports today, we look at sports women. Who have they brought you there? And also win or forget the title. That is what Uganda Revenue Authority, the team, has been told. And of course the Star Times Premier League updates there for you, the games that will be played today. So much more of this. We'll have that with Ruben.
Well, of course, much more to expect today, as we will take you also giving you live feeds from what will be happening in Kololo as we swear in the President of the Republic of Uganda, elect, that is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. But of course, also today is important for us that we know about the weather, what to expect as you come to town or not actually come to town. For some of you must be staying home because today is a public holiday. And Molly is here to give us all these updates in terms of weather forecast. Molly.
Yes. Good morning to you, everyone. It is a beautiful day, very pleasant weather outside in Kampala right now. We do have some sun coming in as well as clouds. So it is a beautiful day as we swear in our president. Well, this morning I also swear in myself to give you the latest updates that we have in terms of weather across the country. Now, we do have a rain system that is developing, already having those rains over the islands of Lake Victoria. So this is a system to look out for today. Now, we already have rains that is through Moroto town and most of the areas across the Karamoja, the lower Karamoja region, as well as parts of eastern Uganda. We have that rain system that is starting to develop across, coming through Tumbale. So this is going to bring in rains this morning across this area. Now, the same system is also continuing across the Choga region. So this is the area that will also be dealing with most of those rains this morning. We do have more rains coming through across the northwestern part of the country, that is across Arua and parts within this region. It will extend all the way up to parts of Gulu, so you might want to look out for that. Now, we've also had rains starting late in the night across Midwestern, Hoima and Toroko. That area has been having rains, and still the system is developing this morning, and it is also one to look out for as we expect more rains over there. Now, coming back to what we have over the Lake Victoria Basin, now you can see this deep color. This is where the rain system is already, this is why we're already having rains now. Now, this system will be coming in through to Kampala. So though we are having those intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions, do not get too comfortable. We have those rains. So if you're leaving home, coming to town for the celebrations, you might want to have that warm clothing. But that won't be much to really disorganize the day. It is something that we can deal with and still have a good day. Looking into what we are forecasting this morning, we still have those isolated showers forecasted for Kampala, as well as parts of Mokono and Entebbe. And we can look at that system developing more. We expect those rains to also come through across Mityana, and that will be bringing us isolated showers this morning. Now, looking at what we have also for the rest of the forecast this morning, we do have that rain system extending up to the southwestern, the western parts of the Lake Victoria Basin. We do expect rains across Masaka and also for Sembabule and Rakai. We expect those rains to be over several places. That is 50% of the area at least, at temperatures going up to 25 degrees Celsius. We do also have a forecast for rains that is across Mukono, and that will be coming through with temperatures going up to 24. Quite a normal morning. It will still feel cold, but you have rains still expected for Entebbe, Wakiso and Kampala. Now, as we come back to the ceremony, the place will be quite rainy, but at the same time, we're expecting those rains to come in through as the day goes by. Well, that's all we have for you this morning. Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Mwalimu Kenyana. Have a good day.
The Board of Directors, Management and Staff of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority send hearty congratulations to His Excellency Yoweri Tibuhaburwa Kaguta Museveni upon swearing in as President of the Republic of Uganda. The resounding victory in the just concluded elections is a vote of confidence in the vision of the National Resistance Movement government to uplift the standards of living of our people and build a stable and prosperous Uganda. Uganda Civil Aviation Authority pledges commitment to implementing the 20-year National Civil Aviation Master Plan and all the 2021-2026 manifesto pledges in relation to air transport aimed at securing the country's aviation future. Long live Your Excellency, long live Uganda. The Board of Directors and Management of Wazalendo Sacco wish to congratulate His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, upon re-election for the 6th presidential term of office 2021-2026. Wazalendo is an institutional circle for Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs and Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF. This circle has had the effect of improving the welfare of its members and contributing to the economy of the nation over the last 16 years. We thank His Excellency the President for the peace and stability. In the same vein, we wish him and the people of Uganda a successful term of office that fully secures the future of Uganda. Long live Your Excellency, long live Uganda. The board, management and staff of Banana Industrial Research Development Center take great pleasure to convey their sincere congratulations and best wishes to His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa, the NRM fraternity and the nation at large. Our mission is to be the center of excellence for farmers, focused on banana industrial development through strategic public-private partnerships, and our vision is to have a state-of-the-art banana research and competitive business development center for value-added products by 2025. Our brand, Toke, is emerging competitive brand for banana value-added products with 2 UNBS certificate. Long live Your Excellency, long live Uganda, for God and my country.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development joins the people of Uganda to congratulating His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni upon his election and swearing in as President of the Republic of Uganda. Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development pledges to continue formulating sound economic policies, mobilizing resources and regulating financial management to enhance economic stability and development of Uganda. Long live Your Excellency, long live the people of Uganda. The Executive Chairman, Board of Directors, Management and Staff of Kira Motors Corporation congratulate General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni on his inauguration as the President of the Republic of Uganda. Kira Motors celebrates His Excellency the President for the visionary leadership and ardent support towards building the indigenous motor vehicle industry in Uganda. Kira Motors Corporation is committed to building a better Uganda through automotive technology consistent with Uganda's aspirations and pathways to Vision 2040 and the NRM Manifesto 2021 to 2026. Specifically, 1. Promotion of local manufacturing of motor vehicles. 2. Establishment of an efficient, integrated, sustainable, safe and inclusive public transport system. And 3. Promotion of environmentally friendly transport solutions. Long live His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Long live the people of the Republic of Uganda. Long live Kira Motors Corporation.
On behalf of the board, management and staff of the Uganda Cancer Institute, we warmly congratulate His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, on his election for the 6th term of office. We wish you success during your next term in office. The Uganda Cancer Institute is committed to providing holistic cancer services to all Ugandans during this term as we secure our future. Long live His Excellency the President. Long live Uganda, for God and my country.
The Minister in charge of Presidency, Chairman, Board of Directors, Management and Staff of Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, UPPC, congratulate His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni on the occasion of swearing in as President of the Republic of Uganda. Long live Uganda, long live the President. The board, management and staff of National Medical Stores congratulates His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni upon a successful re-election in the just concluded general election. We wish you a successful swearing-in ceremony as the next President of the Republic of Uganda. National Medical Stores is committed to serving Ugandans better as we secure the future of Uganda together.
The Directorate of Industrial Training, DIT, warmly congratulates His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni, the President-elect, upon the successful victory of the 2021 general elections and swearing in as President for the Republic of Uganda. DIT is committed to promote quality assurance interventions in business, technical, vocational education and training for the public and private sector labor market needs to accelerate national development. Long live His Excellency, long live Uganda.
The Board of Directors, Management, Staff and entire membership of Kyamuhunga People's Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited, CHAPS, congratulate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni upon successful elections and the dedicated selfless service to the Republic of Uganda and beyond. Long live our President, long live Uganda. Our branches are Main Branch, Butare Kyamuhunga in the Bushenyi District, Katerera Branch in the Rubirizi District, Rutoche Branch in Mitoma District, Ishaka Branch in the Bushenyi Ishaka Municipality, and Rubare Branch in Intungamo District.
Congratulations, Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, upon your inauguration as President of the Republic of Uganda. We at Ministry of ICT and National Guidance salute you and the people of the Pearl of Africa on the historic day. We deeply appreciate your significant role in seeking solutions to many of East Africa and Africa's political crisis and keeping us all in harmony. Your global advocacy on behalf of Africa is another example of your great leadership and calling beyond Uganda. Digital Tracking Solution. The Digital Tracking Solution, DTS, is used by both local manufacturers and importers of products specified by Commissioner in a gazetted notice. It is compulsory for these taxpayers to apply tax stamps.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by
Authentically symbolic and insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Sodong Top,
was brought to you by.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go. MTN.
Good morning to you, Uganda. Thank you so much for watching UBC television as we continue to give you an update and getting into the live coverage of the swearing ceremony of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni. My name is Priscilla Naloge and I am with Felix Nkunde and Robert Chirabo as we continue into the day. Later on, we are going to be having a couple of pundits, guests that are going to be giving us their 2 cents into the conversations that we are going to be having today. Of course, we are expecting the speech from the president after his swearing in, but then we also have to look into the next 5 years. What are the promises, what are the commitments, and how are they going to be achieving them? While we continue to look at that, of course, in 2016, in the inauguration for 2016, the president did invite some dignitaries. He did invite heads of state from different countries, and we had some of these being invited once again. But we just want to look back to the heads of state that were invited and may not come here today for one reason or another. Back in 2016, we had presidents from Kenya, we had Ethiopia, Somalia, South Africa, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe that did come for the inauguration ceremony for President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni into his 5th term. However, on this list, some are long gone ever since then. Just in Tanzania, we had Joseph Pombe Magufuli, who died on the 17th of March this year, and he had been president of the Republic of Tanzania from 2015. He was a close friend to our president and is surely going to be missed on such a very dignified day as this. Then equally, in Chad, we had the president, His Excellency DB Idris, also attending the inauguration ceremony back in 2016. But today, he's also long gone as of 19th April 2021. But he had been the president from 1990 until the time of his passing, and he passed on when he had gone to the front line to be able to star his army onto the fight that they were having on one of the borders for Chad. Unfortunately for him, he did not come back. His son now takes over power as the president of the Republic of Chad. And of course, in Zimbabwe, in 2016, His Excellency Excellency Robert Mugabe was still ruling Zimbabwe, and he had come for the inauguration ceremony then. Today, he's also long gone, passing away in 2018, shortly after having stepped down as the president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Now, so many changes have continued to happen in both these countries that we have talked about. We also had others in attendance then, but since then, they have moved on from the highest office in the land. We had Ethiopia. Back then, we had Mulatu, who was the president of Ethiopia, and he had been the president from 2013 up until 2018. And for that reason, he came here to Uganda as the president of Ethiopia. And when we look at today, it's a different president that is going to be coming through today. Now, looking at some of the presidents that are coming through today, we get to look at a list there that is going to be showing us some of the presidents that we are receiving into the country. Yesterday, we did receive some presidents, and today the journey is continuing on. We are expecting some presidents from the international airport, and that is Entebbe. Now, as we are having expectations of those, we do expect today, the 12th of May, we are expecting His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the President for the Republic of Kenya. We are also expecting the President of Tanzania, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, to be arriving any time soon. Those are some of the presidents that we are have been received so far in the country. We are going to be having a live feed there from the international airport at Entebbe, and we will be looking at some of those other dignitaries that are going to be coming into the country. We do have the President of the Republic of Guinea that is also in the country for the swearing-in ceremony. We also do have the President for the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is here to represent Zimbabwe in celebrating this milestone with us in Uganda. The President of DR Congo is also ready for the D-Day to usher in Uganda into the 6th term. We have the President of the Republic of Ghana, who is also ready to smile on and cheer on His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The President of the Republic of Namibia is also here with us already in the country and ready to cheer on his fellow counterpart as far as African leadership is concerned. We do have the Republic of Guinea. His Excellency is also here representing Ghanaians onto this ceremonial event for us. Now, Madam President from Ethiopia is also here, and it's going to be awesome to see two excellencies that are ladies and presidents of countries on the African continent. Now, we are going to be having some of those other dignitaries arriving from the Entebbe International Airport, and we'll be getting those reports coming through later as and when our reporters are coming through. Of course, it's UBC. Do expect live coverage from the national broadcaster all the way to Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. We'll be bringing you every single event, every single person coming in as and when they do happen. So you can follow these live updates on our Twitter handle, which is UBC TV Uganda. The hashtag is UBCGMU for now, and we'll be continuing on to the journey. We are also streaming live on Facebook, so in case you don't have your TV set, you can get onto your phone, log onto your Facebook, and then you can connect to UBC television, stream live, walk the journey with the rest of Uganda. There's also Afro Mobile. You can actually get UBC on Afro Mobile. Just download the app from your Play Store or your Apple Store, and you can be able to watch UBC TV. But you can also stream live on our YouTube channel, which is UBC Television Uganda. Walk with us the journey as we usher in the President of Uganda.
Well, thank you, Priscilla, for ensuring that our viewers well informed of who are going to be at Kolo, the heads of states we are expecting, and a couple of dignitaries there. When you talked about presidents that have been attending inauguration ceremonies, for me, my mind goes back to 2001. And here we had Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, and I believe in many memories of people there, how the country was, because we were expecting Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, and of course how the ceremony was so colored there. So when you talk about these, of course I have memories to each of them that I've been around to and those that I've read about, but 2001. Yes, was really very powerful. If you remember the security, what happened those days when he came to attend, he later went to Old Kampala. There were a bit of security here. His security wanting to take over, then also you have our own security there. There's a bit of push and pull at some venues. So it was really a time that really goes into my mind when he had come to attend that. But Felix, for the benefit of our viewer, they must also understand when we talk about 6 African presidents in Uganda to attend this inauguration, first and foremost, what does this show? When we see congratulatory messages coming in from various embassies, various countries at such a time, what does this signify to the ordinary Ugandan?
I think the best attribution to that would be to cause cognizance of such leadership. As I told you earlier, that it also ratifies the relationship, interstate relationship, what we call international relations, in terms of how countries manage. And this could stretch far from social, cultural, religious, economic, just to mention but a few. For example, you can imagine there was a good story in Monitor, where you looked at and there's a statement that was General Museveni, the region's security doyen since 1986. Now, this is a statement that people may not pick necessarily, but there's so much
actually 9 African presidents.
Now,
yes, just to get the figure. Continue. Yes, I was just clarifying that not 6 actually, they are 9. Looking through, there are 9.
So what I'm saying is that General Museveni in this, Robert, what you ask is that what does this mean? It means it's a reflection of the honor. As I was telling you that earlier on, there's a statement that in the Daily Monitor that we read that General Museveni, the region's security doyen since 1986. Now, for some reason, people here don't want to discuss this, but this is a matter of fact, that since 86 and the coming into power of the president now, or the person who's going to swear in today, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, so much has changed in terms of security, not only in Uganda, but for the entire region. And I can give you a couple of evidences. One, Uganda then had over 5 rebel and organized rebel groups. By 86, even 80, you come to all these years, 91, 92, 93, up till about 2007. Since then, this country has not had of any kind of attack or aggression up till today. Now, because of this ability and the presence of the president in this country, the same has been also traded over. You've seen the presence of our national forces in countries and the effect of the same. Just to mention but a few, you've seen how much it did in South Sudan. You saw what it has been doing in Somalia. Okay, and so many more that we will not come out here to say. But as a matter of fact, this alone is a tool of trade for His Excellency. The issue of security, he remains a domain of council in terms of security. Now, when you see the visiting presidents coming in, there's so much to pick from a colleague. And let me just say this as a matter of fact, away from even the politicking. Any president who has led the country for over 35 years, you would want to be their friend. If you are a president, you would want to associate with that kind of person. There is so much to learn.
Indeed,
there is so much you can pick. Now, when you see about 9 presidents in Uganda today, and probably also still counting those that will come today, because I think the likes of Kenyatta's are not here, the Suluhu's are not here, His Excellencies Tanzania, Kenya, Burundi is already here. So the expectation, all these people flocking the country are simply sounding the same voice. If you have been keen to notice that since 2008, there's been a great wave of Pan-Africanism need to re-echo the voices of Pan-Africanism. That's why you have been able to see that Africans have been trying to come together in terms of re-establishing Pan-Africanism. One of the most profound arguments that have been placed before Pan-Africanists today is the issue of the ICC. It is among those few where we saw the very many people coming in this country and rather in Africa coming together to find belief on what they want to define themselves. Now, you saw...
Actually, that also reminds me in 2001 when we had Bashir attend, that was the inauguration ceremony of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, where many thought he would not even attend. I saw a couple of dignitaries, I think for foreign heads of mission, some who felt really this person being wanted by the you being part of this swearing in ceremony. So that is greatly an issue that really we should look at, like you've presented.
When you see many presidents flocking into the country, Robert, it may not be because they don't have things to do.
Yes.
Because there's a great need to redefine African politics on African standards. And this is the only way that you're going to see Africans coming together. We've been time and again questioning the role of the African Union in terms of governance, in terms of pacifying Africa, in terms of soliciting of funds, or in terms of consolidating leadership in Africa. This is where it starts. This is where it starts. For example, you're looking at a troubled Somalia today, but why would Uganda be deploying there? Why would Burundi deploy? Why would Kenya deploy? This is what we are talking. Now, we must first of all take cognizance in the fact that we work together as a continent. And this is what we see. For those who are not able to come, you see that they have sent representatives and all this. But this, again, is profound in a particular way that this all happens with a big friction between Africa and most of the Western world countries. And I can give you different cases from country to country, from country to country. This has also caused a new interest of African countries to form or to synergize around their abilities. How do we get past neocolonialism most recent, Robert? These are all the questions that should be answered as we see great presidents congregate to celebrate and also to endorse and appreciate a colleague.
Well, well said, Felix. Today is the D-Day where we'll see President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni take oath for yet another term of 6 years. Having been given the mandate of the people of Uganda, that was on the 14th of January when we went and cast our votes for both parliamentary and president, and he won with majority of the vote. That was 58.38% of the votes cast. That is about 6 million plus of the 10 million plus votes that were cast by Ugandans. And as it is mandated by our constitution, and it is clear that there is a time frame upon the expiry of his term of office, you only have 24 hours where another president has to have been sworn in to take oath. And this is what is going to be happening. We'll be under the tools of leadership. But just remind you that we'll also be having Honorable Nyombi Tembo, who will be joining us on set for an interview as we get to know more regarding the swearing in and, of course, what this term will mean to Ugandans and their expectations. Well, and this is going to be something that we do not want you to miss. But just remind you, we are going to be having all these live updates as events unfold at Kororo Independence Ceremonial Grounds. And I say, Lady Priscilla.
Well, Robert, interesting to note that according to the program lineup, at exactly 8:30, we're supposed to be having dignitaries taking their seat. Time check now is 8:25, and from the international airport, we are still expecting some dignitaries, heads of state and other invited guests to be coming through from the airport. And I just want to let people know, as far as traffic is concerned, stay away from Entebbe Highway today. It's not going to be conducive for any public use because of the nature of event and the urgency of time. Now, speaking of Entebbe International Airport, we do have Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, who is a scientist and a politician, and he's also minister when it comes to constitutional affairs. He is going to be receiving some of these dignitaries. He's in charge of the escorts for dignitaries and heads of state. We will be having an interaction with him from the airport to let us know, as of this morning, who is into the country and who is expected to come into the country for the swearing-in ceremony of President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to Habura. Now, we'll be coming back with more of these interviews and interactions. Keep it to Good Morning Uganda. Definitely have a lot of conversations, but I like the headline, Robert, from New Vision. in preparation for the next term, the question of the next term. It's very interesting to see how things are actually being interpreted by journalists on these particular events. And as we also getting into business as usual for such a grand day as this, we're just reminding you that we do have some head of states that are already here. His Excellency the President from Burundi and the First Lady are here. We do have the head of state for Somalia that is already into the country. Ethiopia is equally also having its head of state represented here, and they are already probably making their way to the Kololo ceremonial grounds right now as we speak, and we're going to be giving you live coverage of the entire swearing-in ceremony. But you can go to our Twitter handle at UBC TV Uganda. We are giving you every live update right from the ceremonial grounds as and when it's coming in and it's being conducted. And as we are doing that, we are also definitely going to be having a couple of other interviews. People have to look into the future. Yes, making a promise to the country is one thing, but I think it all ties in with the power of allegiance, which the president is going to do. But we must reflect, in the last 5 years, has he done what he promised to do in those 5 years? And if he has done it, has he done it to 100%, 83%, 50%, or 0%? We will be having some pundits to be able to dissect for us. But I cannot. For ministries such as the ICT, we do have the health sector. I will positively say that there's been great endorsements and improvements in those ministries. Equally, the Ministry of Tourism has seen a lot of growth coming through for them. Why? Because of peace and stability that has been gained in the country of Uganda over the years under the NRM regime. And so kudos to them for surely having maintained that one promise to keep peace and stability in this country. And obviously, we've been having this conversation over the past months. Peace and stability, how important is it to a state such as Uganda? Well, it affects infrastructure, it affects the economy, it affects the social life, it affects welfare, it affects every single thing. It's more or less like a center, and other things get to rotate around it. Well, we get into a break and we'll be right back. It is Good Morning Uganda.
Congratulations, Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, upon your inauguration as President of the Republic of Uganda. We at Ministry of ICT and National Guidance salute you and the people of the Pearl of Africa on the historic day. We deeply appreciate your significant role in seeking solutions to many of East Africa and Africa's political crisis and keeping us all in harmony. Your global advocacy on behalf of Africa is another example of your great leadership and calling beyond Uganda.
The Directorate of Industrial Training, DIT, warmly congratulates His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni, the President-elect, upon the successful victory of the 2021 general elections and swearing in as President for the Republic of Uganda. DIT is committed to promote quality assurance interventions in business, technical, vocational education and training, for the public and private sector labor market needs to accelerate national development. Long live His Excellency, long live Uganda.
Congratulations, Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, upon your inauguration as President of the Republic of Uganda. We at Ministry of ICT and National Guidance salute you and the people of the Pearl of Africa on the historic day. We deeply appreciate your significant significant role in seeking solutions to many of East Africa and Africa's political crises and keeping us all in harmony. Your global advocacy on behalf of Africa is another example of your great leadership and calling beyond Uganda.
The Board of Directors, Management, Staff and entire membership of Kyamuhunga People's Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited, CHAPS, congratulate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni upon successful elections and the dedicated selfless service to the Republic of Uganda and beyond. Long live our President, long live Uganda. Our branches are Main Branch, Butare Kyamuhunga in the Bushenyi District, Katerera Branch in the Rubirizi District, Rutoche Branch in Mitoma District, Ishaka Branch in the Bushenyi Ishaka Municipality, and Rubare Branch in Intungamo District. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development joins the people of Uganda to congratulating His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni upon his election and swearing in as President of the Republic of Uganda. Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development pledges to continue formulating sound economic policies, mobilizing resources and regulating financial management to enhance economic stability and development of Uganda. Long live Your Excellency. Long live the people of Uganda.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
But you can access URA online. Why pay a visit?
To know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program, and electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body, because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Take oath, that is at the Kororo Ceremonial Independence Grounds, to lead Ugandans for the next 5 years after having been given the mandate of the people through an election where he won with majority of the votes that were cast. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono, and as we earlier told you, we'll be having a couple of guests to give us more insight into this, and I'm honored to have Honorable Nyombi Tembo. Honorable Nyombi Tembo is a political activist. Reading about him since 1980s. He's been around for some time, 15 years in Parliament as Member of Parliament for Kasanda South, but he was also a Minister of State, that is for Ruwero Triangle, ICT, and also primary health, primary education in this, of course, the current regime. Honorable, you're most welcome.
Thank you, my brother, and thank you, viewers who are right now tuned into UBC. Obviously, this is a great day to some of us, very, very great day strategically for East Africa and for Africa. So, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate His Excellency the President, the Cabinet, all the three arms of government, of course, our mighty security forces, the UPDF, the police, and the intelligence services, the people of Uganda, of course, especially the NRM people who put a candidate forward who sold like hot cake and won this election with more than 58%. It's a great day to Uganda. Some of us, we see this not only as a victory of Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni, but a victory of Uganda, East Africa, the people of Uganda and Africa. And at a strategic level, of course, some of us, we see this as continuation of peace and the growth, economic growth trajectory that we've witnessed in the past 2 decades. We're sure it will continue. So it's a great day. It should be happiness to see us getting the president being sworn in, of course getting the commander-in-chief, because those are very, very important things. When people talk about the presidency, they just take it casually sometimes, and some of us who have been around for some time, we just shake our heads and in disbelief. When you talk of president, you have to look at the president in the prism of commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That's very, very important, because when you don't think about that, you may not know the kind of load that a president carries. So, commander-in-chief and fountain of honor. Because when you just say president, I mean, in this country, it's during Amin's time when he said, he decreed that nobody should call themselves president. But here, I can have my small non-government organization and I name myself president. So president, to me, is yes. But this president, I look at this president in terms of commander-in-chief of the armed forces and fountain of honor. When you unpackage it to those 2 levels, then you understand the kind of load, and that's what may also guide you, what kind of person that has to occupy that space. So thank you.
Honorable, since 1996 we've been having elections. Yes, we held a referendum in 2000 because then it was individual merit, and here we came into multi-party. Having been a minister and of course an MP of the ruling party, please take us through this journey till today.
Yeah, the journey has been really challenging, like it would be for any developing country, a country that lost 20 years. When we say that, people don't appreciate it. But this country we are talking about lost cool 20 years, nearly 20 years. From May 1966 to around 1986. This country became a sort of a failed state. It became a sort of a failed state. Losing 20 years, losing 2 decades. You can be successful for 100 years, but losing 2 decades pushes you back a century. That's why sometimes some of these, even the humble achievements we've made and the great achievements that have been done, some of us look at them as miracles, as miraculous. Some people don't appreciate this. But this country, by 1986, it was a failed state, complete failed state. I was around. I was old enough. I was an activist. This Kampala where we are today was divided into 4 sections. And going from one area of Kampala to another part of Kampala, you nearly needed a visa. The parts of Gaba, I think, were occupied by our friend, the late Andrew Lutakome Kayira. This part of Lunguja where I was staying was occupied by Fedemo, my brother, the late Nkwanga. The parts of Kawempe, I think, was occupied by Funa. I mean, then Center, UNLA. That's what the situation. And we're in that situation since 1985 when Lutwa took over government. So from 1996 up to today, I've seen the movement building this country brick by brick. A very strenuous journey, very challenging journey. A lot of contradictions, and which were expected. Definitely.
Of which we've seen some political analysts during this journey believing that maybe we've not moved at the speed where we should have moved. That maybe some of the things that we look at as achievements were expected to have been accomplished. I want your take on that.
Yeah, of course we have had our slows, but we have had challenges. We have had contradictions. Actually, if you had that kind of journey without any challenges, without any contradiction, without any negatives, really, possibly that happens in heaven, not on earth. On earth, we get problems, we get challenges, we get contradictions, but in the general, when we look at the general picture, I think it has been a miraculous success story. I can mention a few things. By 1996, when just look at our road infrastructure, I would say I don't even know. I think it was nearly non-existent, including the road to the international airport. I think it was as potholed as a road maybe in a national park, the Entebbe Road. But today, you reach every corner,
border to border,
of this country on a tarmac road. On last Thursday, I had a road drive with my friend who has been in America for some time. He's been in America for 20 years. So I decided to take him on this trip. We began from Kampala, went up to Soroti, went to Moroto, we crossed to Kabong, to Karenga. That's a Maram Road now. That's the only Maram Road that we stepped on. That is Moroto, Kabong, Karenga, Kitugum. From there, we went to Pakwachi. We slept there. We drove through the park. There is a wonderful bridge which is being built across the Nile at Para. At Para, some people can't even imagine it. We went to Ulisa, going down Ulisa on tarmac road. We didn't step on a Maram road, yes, except between Moroto and the Kitugum. That's the only place. But even there, I saw electric line being pushed from, I think, Kabong, coming to Karenga, probably joining to Chitugum. Then we drove through Ishaka, Kagamba, we went to Kisoro and came back to Kampala. My friend couldn't believe it. I told him that just a tip of the iceberg, because the whole of Bunyoro now, I think in Bunyoro, even footpaths are becoming tarmac roads. Actually, we had lunch in Ulisa. Ulisa is a very small town council down there of our friend.
Also because of the oil element
of the Bagungu. Definitely, of the Bagungu. The Ulisa town, all roads in Ulisa town are being tarmacked. So that's just one example. Just one example. Look at power. The 150 megawatts which the Bazungu gave us on independence, gave us, of course, in inverted commas, but that's the saying. Today, instead of shortages, we are talking of surpluses. These are things you couldn't imagine. and talking about surpluses in a background of highly increased consumption of power. The dams we are putting on stream, which are coming on stream, you can't imagine it. And now we are saying, where are the people to consume this power? And to me, that's not a problem, because I've had...
There's a question of affordability.
Affordability, yes. Affordability, you must afford something which is there. Something must be there in order to afford it. And of course, when you understand the economies of scale, the more consumers on the grid, the lower unity costs of transmitting and generating power. Then that will reflect into the final tariff. Of course, you've had the president now coming in with very smart interventions, like saying that the power going to industrial parks shouldn't pass through this bureaucracy of transmission, distribution, and whatever. It had to come to the industrial parks, so that we can be able possibly to the industrialists to get power possibly at a tariff less than maybe 8 cents. That would really propel growth. Our people, the households, definitely, these days even they have choice. I've been telling people that really, if the aim of your power in your home is lighting, do you need to connect on the grid?
If
the solar technology, if your problem is lighting in a home, do you need to be connected on the grid? So there are now choices. You can go for solar. Solar has been tested. The technology is so high. I see government putting up.
Maybe, Honorable, just to cut you short, we told you that we'll be giving you a feel, of course, taking you to the airport where guests are coming in. And when you look at our screen, yes, there is a guest arriving. And of course, we'll be giving you more of that. Sorry, Honorable, we'll have to cut you a bit short so that we can better welcome our heads of states we are expecting. And we'll know yet who is jetting in right now to attend the inaugural speech.
At Entebbe International Airport, heads of states are actually coming in to attend the inauguration, the fifth inauguration of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and shortly we shall be telling you who has actually just arrived. Ndugu mtazamaji wa UBC TV, wageni wanaendelea kuwasili kutoka nchi mbalimbali, ikiwa ni viongozi wa nchi mbalimbali ambao wamekuja kuhudhuria kuapishwa kwa Rais Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. As we can see, it is Air Tanzania, and yes, we are now expecting Her Excellency Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan, who is the 6th President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and the only actually woman president that is in the region, in the East African community. We can say she is she took office this year after the demise of President John Pombe Magufuli. As we can see here, there's a guard of honor ready to receive her. And she joins others who have actually already arrived to be part of the swearing in ceremony of President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Now, we've also witnessed other heads of states who have actually already arrived, and I must remind you that the inauguration ceremony is at Kololo airstrip, and we've had the inauguration ceremony at Kololo airstrip since 1996. In 1986, actually, it was at Parliament, the swearing-in ceremony, but since 1996, it has always been at Kololo. And I must remind you that in 1996, that's when we had the very first election where every Ugandan of 18 years and above actually participated in the election of the president, therefore being the very first time adult suffrage worked in electing or coming up in electing or deciding who exactly becomes the #1 citizen. And since then, it has been a culture. It has become a culture that after 5 years there is an election and an inauguration. So it is a tradition that we have maintained since 1996 to date, and that is actually not a mean achievement. It's a very, very big and great achievement. Now let's look at Mama Suluhu Hassan. This is her second visit or coming to Uganda ever since she took office as the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. And we must remember that Uganda was her first country to visit when she took office as the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. And also, this is going to be her very first inauguration ceremony she is attending ever since she became the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. So these are things that are very, very, very important. And this also cements the relationship between Uganda and Tanzania. Uganda and Tanzania have had a very historic relationship dating back to the colonial days. And I must also say that most of presidents in Tanzania have studied here in Uganda. Their first president, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, studied here in Uganda. Their second president, Alhassan Mwinyi, also studied here in Uganda. And the third president, Benjamin Mkapa, also was a student here in Uganda. So you can see that when Tanzanians are here, they are actually at home. But also, I must also remind you that when you look at the region of Kagera in Tanzania, the people there are actually more of Ugandans when you look at their culture and the dialect, the language. For example, we have the Banyambo. The Banyambo, if you had the Mnyambo speaking, they are actually like Batoro and Banyoro. You may think that you're talking to Mtoro or Mnyoro, and when you hear the Bahaya speaking, you'll know that you may think you're talking to Mchiga or Mnyankole. So that is how close we are with the people of the United Republic of Tanzania. But again, in the 70s, we remember how the TPDF really worked hand in hand with Ugandan exiles to liberate Uganda, and among the people that participated in the liberation of Uganda then was President Yoweri Museveni and Frunasa, and really Frunasa became a basis for his future political career. So all this is something that we really have to understand and learn as and when we are looking at the relations between Uganda and Tanzania. So the other historical relationship between Uganda and Tanzania is the fact that Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya came together in reviving the East African community that had collapsed in the 70s. So this is also another area that, yes, Uganda and Tanzania have always come together in matters of regional integration and also in matters of Pan-Africanism. Ndugu mtazamaji, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, Mheshimiwa Mama Suluhu Hassan ameshawasili katika uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa wa Entebbe. Nataka nikumbushe kwamba Mama Suluhu Hassan hii itakuwa mara yake ya kwanza tangu ashike hatamu za uongozi kuhudhuria rais mwingine akiapishwa, na vile vile nitawakumbusha kwamba ziara yake ya kwanza akiwa rais ilikuwa hapa Uganda. Kwa hivyo tunasema kwamba karibu sana Uganda, karibu sana mama. Now the other interesting part with Mama Suluhu Hassan is that she is the first president of Tanzania to have an ADC who is actually a woman, and the ADC is called the Kanali Mashauri. You can see Kanali Mashauri actually with Kanali Mashauri, and the ambassador Dr. Aziz Mlima is leading Mama Suluhu Hassan at the airport. So the Kanali Mashauri, as you can see, she is the first woman in Tanzania to be an ADC to the president, and everywhere she goes, like she was in Kenya last week, and all they were saying is that she has an escort of only of women, and you can also as you can see on the screen that the bodyguards, the aides are all women, and I think this is something she is also bringing out, that what man can do, woman can also do, and better, and that is what we are seeing now. At the airport, we are seeing a number of dignitaries welcoming the president, the 6th president of the United Republic of Tanzania. We see the minister state minister in charge of regional cooperation, who is actually at the airport. We also see Professor Ephraim Kamuntu. Yes, and I now hand you over to Priscilla in studio. Yes, we also see with Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, who is also among the dignitaries at the airport receiving Mama Suluhu Hassan. So tunasema karibu sana Uganda. Feel at home. Uganda is home to Tanzania, and Uganda is also home to all East Africans. Now, when we see presidents coming in such big numbers come and participate in the inauguration ceremony of President Yoweri Museveni, this is cementing his place as a great Pan-African, a great Pan-African. Actually, this is also evidence that President Yoweri Museveni will go down the books of history as one of the greatest Pan-Africans that have ever lived, because unlike Kwame Nkrumah, unlike Gaddafi, unlike Nyerere, we see that he has actually managed to consolidate power. He has also managed to balance the various forces, both foreign and internal, where we see the other Pan-Africans, the earlier Pan-Africans like Kwame Nkrumah, Kano, Muammar Gaddafi, really did fail in that particular aspect. But for now, we can see he has successfully done it. Thank you very much for being with us. Nasema endelea kutazama UBC TV, and I hand you over to Priscilla in Studio 3.
Kolan karibu sana to Her Excellence Samia Suluhu Hassan into the country of Uganda. Now, as we had noted earlier, that between 8:30 and the top of the hour, 9 a.m., we will be having some of these dignitaries, invited guests, taking their seat. And so that means that if Madam President has arrived at this time, Entebbe Road must be a clear route for her to access the ceremonial grounds in the shortest time possible. So for those of you that are en route Entebbe Road, best you clear the way or use alternative routes to your next destination. And thereafter at 8:50, we're going to be having the Commissioner General Prisons, Inspector General of Police. You also do have Chief of Defense Forces arriving. We'll be having Head of Public Service and Secretary to Cabinet. We'll also be having religious leaders that have been invited for this 6th term swearing in, and we're also going to be having traditional leaders arriving within the space of these remaining minutes, about 10 minutes. But of course, the timing is going to change, and it's adjustable as and when some of these dignitaries and members are coming in. Chirabo, we were still continuing with a wonderful conversation.
Well, thank you so much, Priscilla, and just remind our viewers that we'll be giving you live updates of the various heads of states and dignitaries as they arrive into the country. So we will be having this over and over until the all have arrived and have made it at the ceremony. I'm still with Honorable Nyombi Tembo, a political analyst, activist who has also served under the NRM government for a couple of positions. State minister, he's been a member of parliament for 15 years, representing the people of Kansanda South. Honorable.
Yep.
One thing that is clear is President Yoweri Museveni will be now taking another term. He's had Uganda for 35 years, and he'll be making 40 years in power by the end of this term. What has made Ugandans continuously elect President Yoweri Museveni into power?
Consistency in delivery. the president, I've been saying this, you can hate him for other things, those who are haters. But whether you like him or not, you love him for his consistency, especially his ideological underpinnings on social, economic transformation of the people, Pan-Africanism, and security. You can hate him for other things. Very, very consistent. Very, very consistent. Even where we've had misses in service delivery, you'll see, anybody who's reasonable, you'll see that the man in him and the president, that he has really put in a lot. He has really, what we call, he has put his body there for Uganda. That's the saying these days, how the young people, you say it. So consistency, I think, to me, has been the key factor in for Ugandans to continue electing President Museveni time and again. And some of us, we have no problem with that. I've been telling people who look at 40 years, they look at 30 years as something, I just laugh it off. And those are the kind of the people who immediately jump to talk about successful countries which have been successful, like Singapore. But Singapore, Lee Kuan was there for 30 years as prime minister. Then he went another 10 years as chief minister. After prime minister, he became chief minister. You know that, Chilabo? Yes. After that, before his death, he took another role as minister mentor. So he evolved through 3 phases. Prime minister, 30 years. Chief minister, I think, for another 10 years. Then minister, mentor, until when I think he died. So transforming countries, leaders who have skills, who have persistence, who have vision. Some people get annoyed about this. I don't care. There are not very many. There are not very many people who can consistently do things for the country, who have a vision and the correct one for that matter. There are not many.
Well, that brings me, Honorable Tembo, to a question. We know that a president makes a social contract with Ugandans.
Yeah, sure.
And per every year we go into elections, parties have manifestos.
Yep.
That this is upon which Ugandans depend to vote, if that is regarding our politics.
Yep.
But we've had arguments that since 1996, your manifesto as a party has not changed. Is this true? You only change headlines now. The themes may differ, securing one's future, which is a theme for this inauguration ceremony, then creating wealth, all this, but it all remains the same.
Yeah, but I've told people, I'm lucky. I read, and I've read manifestos of most of these elections from so-called developed countries, communist countries in Africa here, and I have them even in my library. Manifestos everywhere, they will evolve on 4 issues. You can change the tactics, you can change the way you are going to do it. First thing, domestic policy, especially economy and social policy, health, education. That's a key element. Every manifesto will have that. Because these are the challenges. Manifestos are supposed
Why Ugandans expect that this time it was health, so that should have been dealt with in the 5 years. Then we can move to something else.
You can't do that. You can't manage the state that way. There are things you must do at a goal.
Continuous
you
progress.
can put more emphasis on one, like what we did when the president guided us in 2006. Say, let's put a lot of our effort on power. Because we knew that power was locking up a lot of capacity in the country, especially the capacity for industrialization, when we knew that unemployment, especially graduate unemployment or youth unemployment, was becoming a very big issue. The only way to get out of that, there are 2 ways. One, industrialization. And what was locking up industrialization was lack of power. Then, of course, another one is agricultural modernization, moving people from subsistence agriculture to commercial agriculture. So there we put more emphasis on power. There are times when we put more emphasis on roads. There are times when more emphasis have been put on education, especially when we are transiting from education for a few, good education for a few, to UPE 1997. You'd see more resources being put in education. But I told you those 4 pillars is always domestic policy, that's economic management and social policy, education, health, foreign policy, defense, and security. Mainly, those are the issues. For example, for us, if you've been, some of those people have been following us, from 1996 was modernization. Modernization, that was our entry manifesto. That was the catch one. Modernization. And when you follow all our subsequent manifestos, we've just been unpacking that modernization thing. And I believe without any iota of fear that the journey to modernizing Uganda has been walked. We are still walking. If it is 100 kilometers, possibly we've walked, say, 40 kilometers. Yes, we've walked 40 kilometers. I'll give you a small thing, because me, I want practical things. The village where I come from is called Chamsuga. Chamsuga is 80 miles away from Kampala. Just here, near here, 80 miles. It's 1.5 hours. By 1986, there was no single Mabat house. 1986. I was there. I was an old man looking. We didn't know power, how it looked like. The nearest school was 12 miles away. The nearest health center was 14 miles away. The road leading to Chamsuga was a cattle track. It was not a paved, it was not a road actually. It wouldn't be called a road. Today, maybe there are only 2 grass-thatched houses. Because I live on that village, I know everybody. There are 2 grass-thatched houses. Actually, I'm opening some bet on that. There won't be one next year. Even those 2 are going to solve that problem. We have power, electricity. Our road now, at least, is a good Maram road. It can get problems during rain season, like in other roads. We have the school is there. We have a health center on the village. Really, we are working. We are not there. We still have challenges, but I think the journey to modernization, as our entry manifesto in 1996, we are working it. And me, I'm seeing that we've now set a very strong foundation, even to work at a better speed. I'll tell you this.
Honorable, having talked about the successes over the years that we've been able to achieve as a country under the leadership of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Now, let's look at the challenges that await. This is the 6th term of Yoweri Museveni. We've had, right now, we go to a time of swearing in a new president where politically we've had a bit of disunity here and there. We look at infrastructure where there's still some bit of challenges. We have reviving the economy. We've had COVID-19 and all these. And then also youth unemployment. Let's look at some of the tasks that await the president in the 6th term.
Yeah, true. Because I'll begin with this. Whenever you do the basics, when you do the basics, human beings, we are amazing members of the animal kingdom. We change targets. We change perceptions. When you do primary education and take everybody to school, people will stop demanding education just. They'll start demanding quality education. Now, quality education is a moving target. Quality education is a moving target. What quality education do you want to offer? And this relates to the budget. Do you have the resources to offer that kind of quality education? When you offer basic health, people will stop demanding health, just health, going to the hospitals. They will now want quality health. Now, we have another new problem, what I call transported presence. Our people have transported presence in countries which are successful. Every youth with a smartphone has seen a good road.
But we've seen heads of different government, members of parliament going to these countries for benchmarking, to bring home what they are witnessing.
So even those who don't go there physically, ICT has afforded them that transported presence. They are always in New York, so they think that these things you can do them so quickly. Actually, when you listen to our people, especially in the diaspora, saying, blaming what Museveni hasn't done, comparing us to the US, comparing us to Sweden, you see the problem we are going in. Our people, by the time I became a political activist, I knew only Micah Sand and the slums here in Kampala. My young man knows New York more than I know it. He has never gone there, but he has that transported presence through the ICTs. There. So those challenges of now, we are moving from the basic. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, we have delivered the basics in infrastructure, in energy, in education, in health. And to me, affording yourself basic necessities for a country like Uganda is a miraculous success. Now we are going in a very difficult period where people are going to demand quality. When you do a road, they will say, we want 4 lanes. They'll start asking for lanes. They'll start asking for the kind of, when you design junctions, we want a better design of junctions.
When people demand for this, one of the things that they put in mind is that the government, 35 years, there are certain things that we should have moved there maybe from the basics now to getting quality.
Sure. That's the mind, and they are right. If somebody thought like that, is right. But let's look at numbers. Me even going into, because everybody who want to win a debate in an economic debate here will rush to corruption. But for us economists, we always perfect our thinking through assumptions. I've told people that let's assume there is no corruption in Uganda. You have angels collecting taxes, you have angels spending taxes, and you have angels as the population, as citizens, all the money collected and spent. How much are you going to collect from this economy? How much? Because what doesn't lie is the GDP. Because GDP figures capture even corruption. It captures, but the GDP figure, 40 billion.
Honorable, in the interest of time, and now that we do not have angels, you've just reminded me what the minister, Machia Kasajao, presenting the budget, said. Yes, mentioned clearly that we do have. And
we must start from there. We're going to make a very.
What are your final remarks to Ugandans on this precious day, important day, a national day, as we see a new president?
Yeah, the electioneering is over. It's now work. Each one of us must do their part. Each one of us must do their part. Citizens, opposition, those in power, of course, the president has the biggest load on this. Then we move on. So this is, all of us, let's play our part. There's no way we can achieve success in the next 5 years if the only player is government. Government should deliver what they're supposed to deliver. Of course, the citizenry, we must do our duty as citizens. And of course, government institutions and everybody should play their part. Electioneering, we should really unlock ourselves from the electioneering phase. It's gone.
Done and dusted.
Yes, let's wait. 2026, we are lucky, I think we're having elections every 5 years. We shall go into election. But now it's work. It's work because Uganda must be there
to
have elections.
It is work, and Uganda must be there. Well, Honorable is still with us. We'll be having him later on. But like I said, we do not have angels. We are competing Chisanja Akuna Muchezo, and now we are moving within securing our future of Ugandans. I'll hand over to Priscilla, and I see Odongtho smartly dressed there also, who will be taking us more regarding the day and, of course, what we expect to happen today.
Well, thank you so much, Robert Chirabo and Honorable Tembo. I definitely have liked your last statement that we cannot achieve success as government being the only player, meaning that every one of us does contribute to what exactly we request and we demand from the government that we're going to be having incoming for the next 5 years. Joining me is a seasoned journalist. Tonight at 10 p.m. he will be giving us the aftermath of the 12th of May 2021. But today, this morning, he joins us on Good Morning Uganda as we are having live coverage of the presidential swearing in build up. Good morning to you, Charles.
Good morning, Priscilla.
How are you?
By the way, make no mistake, I'm actually smiling. So, but because of the mask, you can't see.
Yeah, why? Oh, yes.
There it is. You can. Yes.
Smiling.
Yes, but good to be here. Good to be here this morning.
Allow me to just get off script.
Yeah.
What was it like having COVID-19?
Oh, I don't remember that I had it, but I think I had it about 5 months, 6 months, almost 6 months ago in December. And it was, the anxiety was the trouble. Yeah. Otherwise, it was fine. Okay with me. I do exercises, and I handled it well. I didn't fall sick. But I had it, and eventually I turned negative.
As you know, COVID-19 has hit globally, and it has definitely also shaped politics, especially on the African continent. Right from last year in October, we've seen a couple of African continents having elections and swearing in ceremonies of different presidents. We've had Tanzania, Ghana to mention, but a few. This morning, as we continue on to our very own journey as the Republic of Uganda, what do you have for us?
This is an interesting day. I like context. I like looking at history. And so one of the things I liked with Honorable Tembo's summary was, you know, we don't have angels here. Yeah. I like the transported, he said transported presence. I loved that. And I think as we go into more analysis, lengthened analysis of today's securing the future, swearing in, inauguration, I think for me, I want to expound more on those issues. I want Honorable Tembo to explain more. So how about the expectations?
Well, do you care to give us an explanation into that? We'll be having him, I'm pretty sure, giving us 2 cents on that. But you have talked about liking to put things into context. Yeah. 2016, going back to history of that day, we had something peculiar. And one of the peculiar things that happened was we had UN dignitaries, US dignitaries stepping out and stepping away from the swearing in. Why? Because of the presence of one President Omar al-Bashir, who was wanted by ICC at that time for a genocide.
That was 2016, swearing in, I still recall vividly. I think what they were not happy with was the recognition by our president, but that is global politics for you. In international law, they tell you, international law is one of those very, it has more gray areas than actually the municipal law or our type of law, local law as we know it. Okay. And so it's neither here nor there. While President Museveni might be interested in constructing a good regional presence and also dealing with people who are considered pariah states, out there, some countries, like the US, like some persons in the UN, might say this is someone that you should not even touch, not even with a long stick. And so Omar al-Bashir was one of those persons that they didn't want to touch even with a long stick. And no wonder, a few years later, you saw what happened in his country and is in jail right now, I think. Yes, so it's something that can be discussed. I like these things being discussed and put into context, but the context I was thinking about more for Uganda as the president goes into a 7th term or 8th term, 8th or 7th from 1986, is we have to see exactly the transported presence. Can we see it from 1986 or we should see it from 2016? And I think everything can be discussed. Someone said, which is very important, that the moment we stop dialogue, then that's where war begins. So we always have to keep this dialogue going on, whatever the difficulties.
And one of the ways that we're keeping this dialogue going is actually having all these heads of state coming through into Uganda and improving and working on our relations, border to border, international, continental, and the likes. Now, as we're signing out, Charles, you always do have a panel of wise, intellectual, intelligent men and women. Today, who are you going to be hosting?
Today, I think, today we are going to have the Honorable Tembo, the extended analysis. He's going to be here with us, but we're going to also have Honorable Mike Sevalu. And then if technology allows, majority of some of these analysts have traveled. We will be having Honorable Captain Mike Mukula as well. And we are looking for Honorable Birawa as well online. To try and get them so that they can share their wide knowledge on, you know, the 7th term of President Museveni, the elections as they were, going forward, national unity, how corruption.
Elections, we're done. We're just at the point of this day is so that we start a new term.
Can I say something, Priscilla? No, now, when you're driving ahead, don't you use your side mirrors to look? Is there?
I need to find if there's a border guy on the other side. But for today, we're focusing on this. Now, you can focus with us by following us live updates on our social media handles on Twitter at UBC TV, and that is UBC TV Uganda. Get every single live update as and when it comes in. But you can also follow these conversations, Charles Odongto and the people that he's going to be hosting on our Facebook channel, which is UBC TV. You can log in and watch in the comfort of the space that you're choosing today. But equally, we are also streaming on our YouTube channel, which is UBC Television Uganda. For our international audience, the diaspora, Ugandans out there, thank you so much for having been a part of this decision that has seen His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni being sworn in today, the 12th of May 2021, as the next president of the Republic of Uganda. It still is Good Morning Uganda, giving you live coverage here on UBC TV. Robert Chirabo, you're still here? No. Okay, we'll be going to a break and then we'll return more of the swearing in coverage.
The Board of Directors, Management and Staff of Uganda Civil Aviation Authority send hearty congratulations to His Excellency Yoweri Tibuhaburwa Kaguta Museveni upon swearing in as President of the Republic of Uganda. The resounding victory in the just concluded elections is a vote of confidence in the vision of the National Resistance Movement government to uplift the standards of living of our people and build a stable and prosperous Uganda. Uganda Civil Aviation Authority pledges commitment to implementing the 20-year National Civil Aviation Master Plan and all the 2021-2026 manifesto pledges in relation to air transport aimed at securing the country's aviation future. Long live Your Excellency, long live Uganda. The Board of Directors and Management of Wazalendo Sacco wish to congratulate His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, upon re-election for the 6th presidential term of office 2021-2026. Wazalendo is an institutional Sacco for Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs and Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF. This Sacco has had the effect of improving the welfare of its members and contributing to the economy of the nation over the last 16 years. We thank His Excellency the President for the peace and stability. In the same vein, we wish him and the people of Uganda a successful term of office that fully secures the future of Uganda. Long live Your Excellency. Long live Uganda. The board, management and staff of Banana Industrial Research Development Center take great pleasure to convey their sincere congratulations and best wishes to His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa, the NRM fraternity and the nation at large. Our mission is to be the center of excellency for farmers focused on banana industrial development through strategic public-private partnerships, and our vision is to have a state-of-the-art banana research and competitive business development center for value-added products by 2025. Our brand, Toke, is emerging competitive brand for banana value-added products with 2 UNBS certificate. Long live Your Excellency, long live Uganda, for God and my country.
The Executive Chairman, Board of Directors, Management and staff of Kira Motors Corporation congratulate General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni on his inauguration as the President of the Republic of Uganda. Kira Motors celebrates His Excellency the President for the visionary leadership and ardent support towards building the indigenous motor vehicle industry in Uganda. Kira Motors Corporation is committed to building a better Uganda through automotive technology consistent with Uganda's aspirations and pathways to Vision 2040 and the NRM Manifesto 2021 to 2026. Specifically, 1. Promotion of local manufacturing of motor vehicles. 2. Establishment of an efficient, integrated, sustainable, safe and inclusive public transport system. And 3. Promotion of environmentally friendly transport solutions. Long live His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Long live the people of the Republic of Uganda. Long live Kira Motors Corporation.
On behalf of the board, management and staff of the Uganda Cancer Institute, we warmly congratulate His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, on his election for the 6th term of office. We wish you success during your next term in office. The Uganda Cancer Institute is committed